ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hajicek.
Hello, everybody, including you, Alex, including you.
How's it going?
Good. Welcome everybody in chat. Jeez,
Welcome.
we're a few minutes late, aren't we?
That's
A lot of people in chat. I was going to say thank you. I always keep forgetting, but I want to say thank you to Wit for helping.
Yes,
Be
thanks.
our booking agent. Yeah, I never thank him publicly. Anyhow, what do we got tonight? We got a great guest. We have Kristen Payton on tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
Did you meet her today?
Yeah.
She got her all dialed in.
Yep.
Good. Oh my God, I can just look at you and laugh. Okay, so I'm not going to do tech breakdown tonight. I'm going to skip a week, but next week we're really going to go thick. We've got the world's first front-wheel drive electric e-bike that I built, and then I gave it to a friend of mine for helping, right? And I gave it to him today. He picked it up. And he's going to mount a really cool thermal camera system on it.
Awesome.
So it'll be the world's first e-bike with a thermal camera on it.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
For research.
And then Adam Colt has been working and developing technology for Snellgrove for that trip that's coming up. And he's going to reveal something really cool along with his son who's been helping him. So anyhow, that's next week. This week we're skipping.
Okay. Well, what are we doing?
Aren't you glad July 4th is over?
Yeah.
That was nuts. It was so bad here. I literally couldn't see my hand in front of my face. The smoke was so bad. And they just kept doing it, blowing them off. All the neighbors are blowing off all these millions of these really expensive, those, what do you call them, mortars? The big ones.
Oh, yeah.
So my neighbors are blowing off just tons of those. Well, I don't even have to tell you, there was no wind that night and there was all the humidity. And I was literally worried about the smoke alarms going off inside my home. Anyhow, so that was bad. But I sent you a video of the kind of neighbor that I wish I had. Could you play the kind of neighbor I wish I had next year for 4th of July? So this is who I wish I had. Volume up. There you go. See, Alex, he's making the bottle rocket sound and smacking his shoes together. Anyhow, and corn dog season is near us. County fairs are starting to fire up, right?
Yes, it is.
Their livestock and their prize corn or whatever.
Can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go. I'm going to go to the Untold County Fair.
Yeah.
Corn dogs and watch bull riding and all that fun stuff. I like that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
Are you a fair guy?
Me?
I don't think you are.
Well,
actually, I know you're not, because when you were a kid, I kept taking you all the time. And every time you were like, no, I'm not riding on that ride. I would put you on it anyhow. And you would bail off halfway through the ride. Just bail out.
Yeah.
Right into my arms. I saved your life more than once when you were a kid. Okay, anyhow. But the summers whizzing by really quick, like super, super quick.
Right.
And that reminds me of a story of a 103-mile-per-hour duck. Jeff Harding sent me this little story. It's not much of a story, but apparently they clocked a mallard, a male, doing 103 miles per hour. That's pretty quick for a duck.
That's incredible.
But I want to know if they can go 103 miles per hour and fly that way. Why do they walk everywhere they go?
Right.
They do. They walk, literally. I have ducks. I had a duck set off my Ring doorbell. He was just walking on the sidewalk
Oh my god.
and then walked up the stairs. Why?
Why?
They walk everywhere. It's just so weird to me. Anyhow, thank you, Jeff Harding, for sending that.
Thank you, Jeff.
Really fast. Well, let me read the story. It says a mallard was recently recorded breaking an all-time speed record for a duck. Apparently quickest duck in the world. 103 miles per hour with a strong tailwind while he was migrating north through Minnesota. See? He didn't want to stay in Minnesota either. Clear it quick. Anyhow, so what would you say if that duck flew towards you? What would you say?
I don't know. I'm a stupid Superman.
You'd say duck.
Duck. Literally, duck.
He was flying towards you? Yeah. Anyhow. All right. Card skimming is getting to be a big problem. Like really a big problem. They're mass producing these look-alike card skimmers, the little plastic shells that go over the real ones. And apparently you cannot tell them apart. They're literally saying you should tug on them a little bit before using one.
Oh, God.
Because apparently they just tape them on there with like double-faced tape. So if it moves, it feels a little wiggly, tell the cashier and they'll yank that thing off.
Yeah, that's scary.
It says to avoid card skimming scams, the Federal Trade Commission recommends checking to see if the card reader is loose when paying. So don't pay until you check and see if it's loose. Yep, and then they're saying they recommend changing your PIN number at least once a month on your debit cards, credit cards.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So apparently what they do is they skim it and then they charge like $1 here, a couple bucks. That way you hopefully don't notice.
Yeah, they just skim a little.
I mean, you know what I mean? Who's gonna check for $1, right?
Nobody.
I do.
Well, you're built different.
Also, check for discoloration between the body of the machine and the card reader. Should all be the same color, right?
Right.
It says gently pull up. Gently, keyword gently.
Don't rip it.
Yeah, don't damage it. Gently pull up on the terminal. It says they are all flimsy and they'll come right off. The agency says. If you notice any signs that a skimmer may be in use, do not swipe your card. And alert the store manager. Contact the police and notify your local department of social services, whatever that means. I don't know what they mean by that. Anyhow, researchers next. Jeez. Next. Researchers achieved a mind-blowing breakthrough with a new heat to energy converter. I like that. So it's just not light, it's heat. What do you think? What are you thinking? So apparently this could change the way electricity is made. I mean, you don't need like solar panels everywhere. You can just have a bunch of bricks, or you could build your house out of these things.
That would be sweet.
There you go. See?
Let's build a house out of it.
Yeah, build a house out of these things. So apparently it says green energy sources like solar and wind are generating more and more power, right? As their infrastructure expands. It says, but we need a robust method to store excess for later use. Researchers at the University of Michigan have heeded that call and recently developed a cost-effective and highly efficient thermal photovoltaic cell that converts heat to energy. So there you go. That's a tongue twister. I like to see you say thermal photovoltaic over and over.
I don't think I could even make the attempt.
So apparently there's photons that come off of heated items, which is what you see when you look through an infrared camera, like what Eric's going to put on his bike.
Right.
It sees the heat energy. So anyhow, cool. I was happy to see something new developed because we don't want them windmills in my backyard.
No.
Those 28-story windmills are ugly. Okay, apparently Shark Week, right, on Discovery, there's a lot of shark articles. And of course, they're reporting every shark attack on TV. I just literally was watching the weather, and there was some poor kid that got bit in the leg, recovering. But anyhow, apparently they're searching for Makozilla, which is a big supersized Mako shark in the North Pacific. Yeah.
It's huge.
So apparently in 2013, right, and you thought gray whites were the only big ones.
Right, I did.
Fishers, I guess that's what you call a fisherman, a fisher. That's the new politically correct way to do it. Fisher. I am now a fisher. I'm not a fisherman. Off Southern California, apparently they reeled in an enormous 11-foot, 3.3 meter Mako shark. It was 1,300 pounds, 590 kilograms to you European folk.
That's massive.
They dubbed it the Beast. So apparently they think these things are over 12 feet long.
12 feet long.
Yeah, for a Mako, that's pretty big. Yep, I think so. I think Makos, there could be 20-foot Makos. You know, they just have to get out of their niche a little bit. Don't breed. In my day, when we Mako shark, first time I heard it was when I bought one of these little race sets. Throw up photo 5. This is what Mako shark meant to me when I was a kid. Coolest car ever. Yeah, that was a Mako shark.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a shark.
I had a little 2-inch Mako shark race car.
That's cool.
Yeah. It never got developed. I mean, it's similar to a regular Corvette, but it's just cool looking.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the Mako shark for the later ones, too, and that one never actually got made either. All right, next, Minnesota drivers. And we have a lot of deer here. Minnesota drivers hit thousands of deer a year. Obviously, they claim that they're doing a study to find out where does it happen the most so other states can do a similar study, right? In other words, if you know where it's going to happen, you would avoid driving quick.
Right.
You could put special signs up, fences, those kinds of things, right? Have you ever hit a deer, Alex?
Fortunately, no. I've been lucky.
Yeah, wood. Knock on some wood.
Right.
Knock on some wood, trust me. Okay, so scientists at the Institute of the University of Minnesota are finishing up a project to map exactly where in the state drivers are most likely to hit deer, right? Just like Scott Tompkins on our new show, Mapping Bigfoot. They're doing they copied Mapping Bigfoot. And they're mapping deer car collisions. See?
It doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, I know. The hope is the data will help road engineers find the most dangerous. Yeah, it's like, really, think about it, Alex. We all know where the stretches are, where people, you know what I mean?
Right. You can see them in the ditch.
You can see them in the ditch. They're lining the ditch. You just go there and count them. I can show you the exact stretches on 94. I tell you what, give me the $20 million study, and I'll have your answer in a sight of one day. Be done.
Right.
And it won't be based on science. It'll be based on fact. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So how many deer do you think get hit in Minnesota?
Thousands.
Well, just take a guess. Per year.
Like 20,000 a year?
35,000 a year.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yep. It says they don't really know exactly. But apparently, it says 80% of the people do not report it. Oh, 90% of deer collisions are not reported to the police. I kind of find that hard to believe.
Right.
You buy into that? I mean, because your car is splattered all over. You can't really just leave.
Yeah, I know. What are you gonna do? Go on your date?
Yeah, when you hit a car and when you hit a deer with your car on the freeway, that's the kind of damage. Well, that one doesn't even look like it was done on a freeway.
No.
Anyhow, be careful.
Yeah.
And if you drive motorcycles, be really careful. I lost two friends of
Right.
mine that hit a deer and passed away. And my brother lost a good friend. The same thing on a motorcycle, hitting a deer. But just be really careful. Drive a little slower, right? It says that these areas are generally right out of the suburbs. Right where the freeways come and the roads come right out of the suburbs. All right. That's all the news I have. It's not much. Should we try to... I was going to try... I had so much fun last week. Because you batted 0, right? You didn't get one right, did you?
It was pretty bad.
So let's try to stump Alex. Just one last, just 3 little riddles. What does that mean? What did that mean? Something popped up on your screen.
Yeah, I had to refocus my camera.
Oh, it said like El Gato or something.
Yeah.
Does that mean the cat?
I think so.
Jeez, that was weird. Anyhow, so if you've got your little favorite bumper, you can play it. Stump Alex.
The stump Alex. Let's
You don't
do
even
it,
have
guys.
it ready. You don't even have it ready.
Here we go.
I'm an expert at overthinking things that I shouldn't. You cause us, guys,
Let's really stump Alex.
That was echoing again. Do you play 2? Are you playing 2 of them?
Oh, I know what's happening.
What? Tell me. I want to know.
I'll tell you later.
Every time you play that bumper, it echoes.
There, let's do that one more time.
I'm an expert at overthinking things that I shouldn't. You come across as a cool guy, someone is the opposite.
Let's really stump Alex.
All right, you ready?
I'm
to be
ready.
stumped? So this one Mike Lucci sent me. He wanted to specifically stump you. So he saw this somewhere today, but he sent it to me. He goes, "What's at the head of an elephant and the tail of a squirrel?"
Head of an
What's
elephant.
at the head of an elephant and the tail of a squirrel? Super simpy. Super simpy.
A nut?
No. Anybody in chat getting this? By the way, hello everybody in chat. Geez, my computer won't even keep up. Holy good googa. I gotta get caught up on my... There we go. Okay. It's EL. See, Mike's in the... I see Mike's in the audience.
Yeah.
It's EL. Get it? The EL on the end of squirrel and the EL on the beginning of elephant.
Yeah.
So you can thank Mike Lucci for embarrassing you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, so this next riddle is for little kids. So this one shouldn't stump you. It's just for little kids, Alex. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Listen careful. I am alive. I am not alive, sorry. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Last chance. You got 5 seconds.
I'm stumped.
Yeah, I'd say you're stumped. That was for like 8-year-old kids. It's fire.
Oh, fire.
That makes sense now.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Now this one's for 6-year-old kids.
Okay, so I stand a chance.
You'd stand. No, I'm joking. It's for kids though. This next one. It's a really good one. Why is Europe like a frying pan? Why is Europe like a frying pan?
Why is Europe like?
Because it has grease at the bottom.
Oh my god.
Okay. Not only did we stump Alex, we completely humiliated Alex. We'll have to have the art department do one called Let's Humiliate Alex. No. I'm joking. You're always a good sport. Anyway, I see we have Kristen in the back room. That's good. Hi, Kristen. We know you're there. Okay. Let's do a quick round of trivia here. I suppose I should come back now, right? I'm
Right.
back. You want to do trivia?
Yeah, let's do.
That's kind
trivia.
of stumping Alex, too. Stumping everybody. I want to do it on deer. I swear to God, we did it on deer once, like a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah, a year ago.
Did I really?
Maybe. I mean, what are we on? Episode 200?
201.
201.
I don't know. Anyhow, even if I did, they're not going to be the same questions.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. So how far do deer live away from human populations, right? So it says there are deer living within a mile of most all, listen to this statement, almost all human populations on the entire earth. Is that true or false? Within 1 mile of I'm talking the entire earth. Is that true or false? Deer live within 1 mile of most humans.
True.
That is true. You got it right. You got it right. See, you're making up for it. All right. More information has been published about white-tailed deer than any other mammal in the world. Is that true or false?
True.
That's also true. That's a good guess. You people in chat, I want to see some answers so Alex can copy and cheat. throw some fake ones in there. Okay, male white-tailed deer lose their antlers annually during the summer or winter. Which season? Summer or winter? When do they lose their antlers?
The winter?
That is correct. Most people say summer because you see them in the summer, they don't have any. But yes, it's the winter time is when they lose their antlers. Caribou herds, which are part of the deer family, have been observed in caribou herds have been observed to have populations up to 50,000, 200,000, or 100,000 individuals. So how big of a group can you observe them in? 50K, 200K, or 100K?
200.
Wrong. Only 100.
100.
100K is the answer. Yep. That's a lot of caribou.
Yeah, it is.
What deer only grows to a height of 14 inches? It is the smallest species of deer. Is it the poodoo deer, the key deer, or the fanged deer? The poodoo, the key deer, which live, like on one of the keys going to Key West, like Key Largo, or the fang deer.
The fang deer.
That is wrong. It is the poodoo. It only stands 14 inches.
That's small.
That's your
tiny.
size. Alex really is only 16 inches tall. Look at his. See, that's why he's up on phone books right now, trying to get his head above his mic.
Is that what we're talking about?
No. All right. What continent has only one species of deer? Is it Asia, Australia, or Africa? What continent has only one species of deer?
Asia.
That's wrong. It's Africa. Africa only has the Barbary red deer.
Mm.
They have like antelopes and all these hoofed animals, but they're not deer. They're
They're not
members of the
deer.
antelope family. Yeah. So, do you think deer herds segregate themselves into male and female subgroups? True or false? Some herds of deer segregate themselves into all male, all female groups. True or false?
All male, all female groups.
Look straight ahead. Oh my God.
All male.
All male? That isn't what I asked. I said, is it true or false? You got to first listen to the damn question.
True.
It's true? Yeah, it's true. Okay. Deer are most active at night, or are they most active at sunrise and dusk? Is it at night? Are they nocturnal? Or is it sunrise and dusk?
Sunrise and dusk.
Is that your answer? Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're right.
You're trying to get me to change my answer?
When baby deer are born, there's something they lack completely. They don't have any. Is it vision, strength, or body odor?
Vision.
Wrong. It's body odor.
It's body odor.
They're born without any body odor, which helps them remain undetected if they don't move. Remember that little clip we had where the mom like bleats out something, that little baby fawn just drops?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Remember that? Yeah.
Are you sure I didn't do deer trivia last time?
No, we didn't.
I think I'm losing it. Okay, I got a whole bunch of them here, but they're not that interesting. Did Australia have? This is just out of my brain. Did Australia have any deer?
Yes.
No, they didn't have any deer. But there is some. I think somebody brought some over there now. There's some living there now. But
There's a
no, they had
zoo.
no native deer. None.
Okay, before, yeah.
Okay, the long vampire-like fangs on musk deer. That's what you were thinking, the musk deer.
Mm-hmm.
Musk deer, two different words, are sold in the black market. Are they sold for $10K a pound, $20K a pound, or $50,000 a pound for a
50.
pound of those little fangs?
50.
No, you're wrong. It's 20.
That's 20.
$20,000 a pound.
That's a lot of money per pound.
Yeah, for just some little deer tusks.
What are you going to do with them? Put them in your cabin?
Which species of deer are the most populous in America? Is it mule deer or whitetail deer?
Whitetail.
Wrong. It's mule deer.
Mm.
That is there's more mule deer in all of America than whitetails. Hard to believe. Hey, I don't make this crap up. I just read it. All right. That's it. That's boring me. Were you bored doing that?
No?
With deer? No? All right. Let's do
Encore.
my clips, and then we're going to bring Kristen on.
All right. Let's do it.
We're going to
Can I
whip through these bad boys quick. All right, clip one. I'm here. Clip one, no sound. Just hang on. This is a grasshopper of a very, very different color. And I do wonder if it's a girl grasshopper. Go ahead and play it. No sound, though. Gotta check this thing out. So this guy was mowing his lawn and saw this thing. And if anybody can identify it in the comments, please leave a comment about it. It's really cool.
That is cool.
Isn't that cool?
That color is just super vibrant.
Right. Yeah, this is why it's almost fluorescent. Okay. Enough of that crap. That's where when he found it, what it looked like. All right. Clip 2, sound is fine. Strange streak in the sky over Bakersfield, California. Right? And it's just interesting. Clip 2. Sounds good. I like the little dot, dot, dash, dash. It looks like it maybe comes from those pulse detonation engines. I don't know what this is.
Ahorita en los cielos, se los ahí muestro
Isn't that cool?
para que vean que esto está pasando en los cielos.
All right, that's enough. Do you see those dashes in there, though?
Yeah.
That has to be one of those. I think they're pretty top secret, but it's a jet engine that kind of just like builds up pressure, then does a burst.
And it just boom, just does a burst.
No, it's like it just sounds like pop, 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 pop.
Okay.
You hear 'em. Yeah, it's a bunch of pops.
It's a lot of pops.
Yeah. Okay. Clip 3, no sound. Is this real or not? It's a tiger sitting like a human. Clip 3. Check that out. You think that's real or not, Alex? Remember we were showing cats? You said your cat did that.
Yeah, it might be real. She's done stuff like that.
Anyhow, it's not. I know it's not because I went to the guy's page, looked at the other videos, and he's got one in there of a tiger that's got seal flippers and another. Yeah, and I went, okay, AI. It's a pretty good one though.
Yeah.
AI morphing is kind of a thing now. I saw a tiger. I think maybe he was on his site. A tiger fish. It was a fish somebody caught, and they morphed a tiger into a fish, and that was kind of cool looking. When they do the morphing, it looks pretty real. All right, clip 4. I do believe this is real, but I'm not sure. There's no way to know. I know there are animals that do this. They reanimate when they're all dried up. No sound. But go ahead and check this out. This is an African catfish. I just don't know if they could reanimate this quick. You can talk, Alex. It is a radio show.
I'm sorry. So they just literally go into stasis.
Just doesn't, yeah. I don't know. It just seems like that's pretty quick.
Right. It's almost instant.
I don't know.
Is it real?
I mean, who knows? I have no idea.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah. All right. Next one is just an alpaca. I'm sure people maybe have seen this, maybe you haven't. This is, they shave the wool off. They raise alpacas to take their wool, right?
Right.
You didn't know that. You raise alpacas for a reason, right? You don't eat them.
Right.
Get
Right.
their wool. Their wool is in
Yeah.
high demand. It's very soft and very insulating. Anyhow, this is what they look like after a fresh haircut. Go ahead and play clip 5, no sound.
Mr. Big Head.
There you go.
That's a nice look.
Yeah.
They left the head.
Well, you're not going to shave their head.
Why not?
Well, I don't know why not. Why would you?
There's a lot of good
There's not
hair
much
there.
wool there. Anyhow. That way he doesn't know he's naked.
Humans sell their hair.
Clip 6. Now this is interesting. Sound is good on this, so watch this next clip. Looks like a rabbit crossed with a rat, and I do know what animal it is, but the guy claims he's in Colorado. Go ahead and play clip 6.
Like a rabbit.
Looks like kind of one of those capybaras. So how do we know he's really in Colorado? These are Patagonian maras. So how do we know he's not in Patagonia, right?
Exactly.
Like the vegetation wouldn't be that much different. All right. It's interesting. If it's in Colorado, guess what residents have to look forward to is these dudes.
It looks like a squirrel horse.
It's a squirrel horse. There he is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Alex named it the squirrel horse. You know, I mean, it's possible animals could migrate up too on their own volition, right?
Yeah, I'd
I mean,
like a couple.
People are walking all the way and they're coming up, and why couldn't an animal? Okay.
Well, I'm so small I could probably ride it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you're only 17 inches tall.
Yeah.
Clip 7. Sound is fine. This is just weird because it's like I call this clip Eagles Galore. And some guy in the comments said maybe they're discussing a new tax law. Let's go ahead and play it. Clip 7. Just play the whole thing.
Oh, keep it going, keep it going. Oh my God, don't hit the truck. Just right in front.
Holy cow.
It's a horde.
That's a lot of eagles.
Tons.
All right. Usually you don't see them in the woods like that.
No.
Although we used to put deer carcasses out and eagles would gather. All right. Clip 8 sounds fine. Not sure what the story here is. Looks like it could be in Russia. This could be a pet bear, but it doesn't look like a pet bear. But go ahead and play it. Clip 8 sounds good. That just looks like a Russian house. They have I've seen them with really low ceilings in them.
That's a big bear.
That's a big bear to have as a pet, right?
Right?
But this is where it gets kind of interesting because he really gets into this itching. Just wait, you haven't seen anything yet. I think he enjoys that.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't quit. It just goes on and on. All right, enough. Clip at 9. Excuse me. The sound is good. But just say nope to this. Sounds good. Say nope.
Oh.
Kristen, would you do this? Nod your head.
Centipedes.
No.
Just wait. Look at this thing. Would you do this, Kristen?
What is this guy called?
No.
Elvira.
She's like, maybe.
No. That thing is huge.
Better not say yes because someone's going to test you on it.
Say it again.
I'd be afraid of that thing crawling into my pants.
Alapendra substinip. What?
Can you imagine that in your underwear?
Oh.
Kara, can't be. Just be
We're
confident.
building a relationship
Uh-huh.
Built a
together.
relationship.
Hey,
Well, I just
She's
met
so
her.
desensitized to everything now.
what a couple. They both love bugs. Okay, next. Enough of that. Clip 10. I should come back. Clip 10. Sound is not good. Now, the reason I picked this is because Alex loves strolling animals.
I do.
He loves it when animals stroll. Here's some strolling animals. Go ahead. Sound is not good. You could play the sound for like 4 seconds.
4 seconds.
4 seconds. Shut it off. Start over. Play the sound for 4 seconds. All right, that's it. There you go, Alex. Strolling animals.
Oh,
A
God.
lot of them do stroll. I mean, they're strolling.
Yeah, they are.
Gee. Okay, clip 11. Bonus clip. Sound is good. This is a lyre bird, which are already really crazy and amazing. But this bird is doing his rare mating dance. Check this thing out. If I saw this in the woods, I'd run. Would you think those are 2 snakes or some damn thing? Alex?
Yeah. That is so weird. Looks alien.
Yeah. Very cool. go. That's it. That's all I have for clips. All right, our guest, Kristen Payton. She has been a Bigfoot researcher for 10 years. She resides in Georgia. I hope she resides in Georgia because I just said she did. She has had her own encounter, which we're going to dig into, prompting her, I'm guessing now, to devote. I mean, this is what happens, Alex. You see a Bigfoot and then you start devoting a lot of your time. Not everybody does, but I think that's what happened here. So I'd like to welcome Kristen Payton. Sorry. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Look at you between two windows.
I know.
We've
Perfect,
never,
like
ever had anybody with a perfect, with the symmetry there. It's amazing.
Yes. I like my symmetry.
Anyhow, I gotta go get some cold water. I'm drinking this. This is like 1 week old spring water. It's been sitting in the bottle for a week, fermenting.
Don't tell people that.
Why? Well, I forgot to bring cold water. It's still good. It had a cap on it.
Oh yeah, it's got a cap. And I got all your photos too. So if anytime you want me to bring them up, just let me know.
Alrighty.
All right. So, okay. So you're still living in Georgia, correct?
I do.
Yeah. Now we had Tony Green on. Do you know Tony?
I do know Tony.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, we didn't know that.
I spent several weekends in the woods with Tony.
Oh, well, okay. So anyhow, we've got you guys back to back. Is that how you ended up becoming our guest? Was this just a coincidence?
I think it was just a coincidence.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a coincidence.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy coincidence.
It's Georgia. It's Georgia. Yeah, Georgia month. Okay.
So who's the better researcher? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you know, you can answer that. You can answer that. Who's a better researcher? Go ahead and answer the question.
Tony.
Tony is on. Jeez. Okay.
He's awesome.
Don't worry, he's not watching.
He is awesome. Yeah, we really enjoyed having Tony on. He was great. And we did a bonus show with Tony too. An after hours show. All right. So let's just dive right in here and we'll give you the floor, but dive in and tell us what happened to you and why you got so interested in this crazy mystery.
I know. Oh gosh, I was 16 years old at the time of my first encounter. My parents purchased 30 acres close to Broad River here in Northeast Georgia. I live in Elbert County, which after moving there at the age of about 10 or so, we had some strange encounters. I wouldn't even call them encounters. We had just some strange occurrences on the property that just didn't make sense.
Can you tell us what those are?
Yeah, well, the first one was right after we moved there. My mom was outside and it was at night. Hadn't been there but a few months. And of course we had to clear property to make room for her home. And she was screamed at by something.
Okay.
And the scream, we tried to find out what it was. I didn't hear it. She heard it. But if you could put the roar of a lion mixed with the scream of a silverback gorilla, she said if you put those together and amplified the sound, you may have what this animal was. So that was the first strange happening. We'd have like little footprints in the snow we would find. We would get growled at in the woods, but could never figure out what it was growling. It's just a bunch of weird stuff. Some rocks and pebbles thrown at us. I mean, but we didn't think it was Bigfoot.
Let me interrupt you. When was the growling happening? Was there any activity that spurred that, like peeing out in the woods or chopping wood,
just
or
us being outside?
Just being out there.
Yeah, just being outside. Usually it was nighttime, which is, that's when all the critters come around. We do have bear on the property. We've had bobcats. We have wildlife on the property. So we were trying to chalk it up to bear. Some of the growls were bear. It didn't make sense. But we didn't think it was Bigfoot until I saw this creature with my own eyes.
Wow. How long had the activity been going on before you had an encounter?
About 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're ready. I want to hear what happened and how it changed your life.
All righty. So when I was 16 years old, I played in a country band, played guitar, and everyone in the band was age of 50 plus. And I was 16 at the time, like I said, so a bit of an age gap. But we were on break from band practice. The lead singer's wife and I decided to take a trip down to the very back end of the property on the ATV, which is just a little road that's been cut through there to get to the back. I wanted to take her and share the eagle's nest. There were a few eagle's nests if you got right out on the point to where the creek and we call it's more of a beaver swamp rather than a pond, kind of intersect. So if you get right out on that point and look way out, you could see some eagle nests. And if you were lucky, you could even see the eagles fly overhead. So we were just looking at the nest. It was still daylight, but getting closer to dusk, everything went quiet, like dead silence in the woods. Then we heard something coming towards us. And this thing come at us like it was going to kill us. You could see the smaller trees kind of moving as it come through the woods. I mean, this is summertime. All the leaves on the trees, thick forest. So you didn't have a good visual line. I mean, you just couldn't see through the woods.
Right.
But you could see something come towards you. So from where we parked the ATV to where we were standing, it's like we called a little pig path that you would walk down. It's just a little cut through. But whatever this was, come and stood in between us and the four-wheeler. Like I said, dead silence. It did not make a sound. You could see it standing there. The width was massive. I would describe it as like a football player with all their gear on, how wide they are in the shoulders. And I could not see detail because of how dense the forest was, but you could see how it blacked out any light through the trees, through the leaves. You could see the width of it and you could see the height of it. I'm estimating 7.5 foot tall-ish. It was on the side of a ridge, like I said, in between us and the ATV. Well, she starts screaming. We're going to die. We're going to die. Yeah. I'm thinking, uh-oh, this may be it for me because I don't know what this is. She throws me out front, offers me up for sacrifice. And I'm like, she's like, here you go, eat her first.
So she didn't have to outrun the thing, just outrun you.
Right. That was the whole plan. You just have to be faster than the slowest one. So yeah, she was screaming and crying and saying, we're going to die. And I couldn't do anything. I was frozen. I mean, I didn't know what this was standing in front of me. It didn't make sense because, yes, I've seen bear. This wasn't a bear. It wasn't a bear on two legs. It was not a hunter in a ghillie suit. So I'm like, well, what is this standing in front? I don't know.
How close is it?
About 100 yards.
Okay. So roughly 300 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to picture that in my mind.
Yeah. About 100
I mean,
yards.
it's far enough where it could get to you really quick if it wanted to.
As fast as it come to us,
yep.
It would not take but a couple seconds and we would be dead.
Was it kind of out in the open then at this point?
No, it was still up in the tree line.
Okay.
Now where we were, where it opened up to where we were looking at the eagle's nest, it was more cleared out around us.
Okay.
But once you start hitting that ridge line to go up to where the four-wheeler was, it was more dense. So that's why we couldn't get a good look at it, but yet we could see it clear enough to know there is something there and it is very large.
Okay.
But I mean, this was seconds. It felt like minutes. But she's screaming, I'm standing there, and it just turns and walks off. And when it walks off, I mean, it's going the same direction, like traveling in the same direction. As it walks off, it turns and crosses the pit path that we come down. And as it does, it swings an arm out like this type of emotion. And at that point, I saw the arm and I saw the hand. And that is what I focused on. And it was at that point I knew that what is this? It's not a bear. This is not a human arm. But as it moved, it was just a mass, but I saw the arm swing out. And it walked off just as calm and quiet as it could be. We stood there for a little while because we didn't know what to do. And it walked away. We took off running. We hopped on the four-wheeler, headed back. Of course, we were screaming and hollering when we got back. You know, you won't believe what we just saw. There's something here. There's something. And they were like, oh, goodness. Of course, they tried to blow it off and said it was probably one of the bears. It was a bear. No, it was not a bear. So that was my first experience. And
well, do you think maybe it had something to do? And I've heard this so many times. The four-wheeler, the four-stroke motor is kind of a thump, 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 thump. Do you think that may have has that ever crossed your mind that it was the four-wheeler that attracted it to you guys?
Possibly, because I don't know, because most animals will not come towards a four-wheeler. You know, it was off,
Right,
it was
right.
not running, you know, after we got off of it. But most animals will not come like that towards us or towards a running four-wheeler, but it did. I almost felt like it come towards us and charged us as if like a mother dog protecting puppies or like a mother protecting their child. Like it was almost like come at us angry and protective.
But I
then
do
maybe
wonder.
went
But I do
real out.
wonder if the four-wheeler angered it. Only because
It was.
for Alleged Meat Science, we interviewed a guy that had his four-wheeler attacked while he was on it.
Wow.
And he literally grabbed the four-wheeler, you know. And you do wonder. I keep hearing these stories over and over and over for the last 30 years. And I do wonder if that angered it. In other words, it's the sound of it sounds like, God, who knows? It's just something for everybody to keep in mind. Maybe it's a way to attract a Bigfoot. Just leave your four-wheeler idling.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Possibly.
We don't know.
Yeah, possibly. I would spend hours riding in the woods on trails.
Yeah.
And that's something I did. I had a little mini dirt bike. I mean, I had fun. But I never had that happen before. And then also afterwards, I mean, I really didn't ride that much afterwards. I really didn't even want to go back in the woods right after the encounter.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
But-
I don't either. Can you describe kind of, I mean, that's a paradigm shifting thing. And then you have people that don't believe you. Did your parents believe you?
My mom did because of what she had heard. And like I said, she had found footprints in the snow when she was checking the property lines. And she had some things tossed at her. So she did. My
Okay.
dad was like, oh, no, like there's no Bigfoot. Since that has changed. But yes, and the guys in the group, they're like, oh, goodness, you guys know you saw a bear. And then I thought to myself, like, a Bigfoot? Like, that's the only thing that fit what I saw. But at the same time, I'm in Georgia.
Yeah.
Bigfoot's not in Georgia.
Yeah, I know. Back
Yeah.
then, I mean, literally even 15, 20 years ago, people always just thought of Bigfoot out Pacific Northwest, you know, California, Northern California. But by the way, I'm going to do a quick tech breakdown. Here's an idea for everybody, since I didn't do tech breakdown. Record a four-wheeler, the thump, 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 near the muffler on a tape recorder. Bring it out with you on your next expedition and play that recording. See what happens. There you go. Tech breakdown, right, Alex?
Right
I delivered.
on. You
I
did.
delivered. That's actually a cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I'll bet you I've taken 20 reports in 30 years about clashes with four-wheelers. There may be something to it. And they all have a very distinct, that thump, 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 thump sound. And they all have spark arresters, and they have that really weird muffler on them. So there could be a frequency that just gets the hackles up on a Bigfoot. Okay, sorry for that interruption. Back to your story. So how did you cope with it? I mean, is this something that you thought about like often then after the encounter, or did you put it out of your brain for years?
I had nightmares, and I still do. It's something that stayed in the back of my mind. And when we would have something odd happen on the property, the memories would just come right up. I mean, it would replay in my head over and over. The neighbor across the street, along with neighbors on each side of us, have also had encounters as well. So once it was almost like there was someone else going, "Hey, you're not alone. I saw something too, and it looks like this." I was like, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, because at first I was like, am I just crazy? Did I just imagine maybe if it was a bear? But I was like, no, I know what I saw, no matter how many people tell me you did not see a Bigfoot. You're 16, you didn't see a Bigfoot. I was like,
well, did it have, when it moved its arm, did it have long hair on the arm, or was it completely kind of a short, even hair?
Longer, thinner hair. It wasn't fur. It wasn't like you would see a bear fur.
Right.
It wasn't fur. It was hair.
Okay. How long do you think the longest hair on this thing was?
I'm not good with estimating, but I would say 4 to 6 inches probably.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was longer.
All right. Anyhow, who wrote Bump Bump Bump? Was that you, Alex? Your mic's off.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Oh, okay. I'll just check. I think that's a great idea. It's just, it's so easy to get. Just record some. That's an idea you need to try.
Yeah.
It already worked for you once.
Right?
Obviously, they're not afraid of the four-wheeler, or it wouldn't have approached.
No, exactly.
I don't think you guys made it mad. I don't think if you would have walked out there, do you think the same thing would have happened? I don't think so.
Yeah, we've been out there, my parents and I can't count how many times we would go down there. And it was nothing for us to hop on the ATV and head to the back of the property to look at the huge turtles in the pond, or see the wildlife, or try to catch the view of the eagle. So it's nothing out of the ordinary for that to happen, but we had never had anything like that happen before, and never had anything like that happen since. But
wow.
I will say they were still in the area a couple of years ago, because I was able to cast a couple tracks close to where I had my sighting.
Have you? So you have gone back there?
Yes, several times. But
how far away is this place from where you're at now?
From where I'm at now, it's a 10-minute drive.
Oh, gee. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, can you throw up Quint's comment, Alex?
Yeah.
It's about ATVs. See? It's not just me.
So they just seem to be attracted to them.
Yeah, there was a recent one too that was just like really recent, like this spring, that happened too. So anyhow, just it's all, this whole thing is about dot connections, and that'd be a cool dot to connect. If it gets them angry, not that would be the coolest thing to do, is play a tape recorder and have them come storming in all PO'd, because never mind. So how long was it then after you had your sighting that you started like reading, basically doing research? And then how old were you when you discovered you're not alone, that you're not crazy?
Well, it was within a few years after the sighting that the neighbors started speaking with my parents and then me about their encounters. But I really didn't start going out in the woods and researching 9 years later. So it was a good period of time in between my encounter and me actually researching in the woods. It took a while.
And how long was it until when was the first time you tried to like Google Bigfoot? Was it right after your encounter when you were young, or?
It was actually after my mom heard the scream yell. She was trying to find some type of sound that mimicked what she heard. And actually Bigfoot did pop up on the search. And we're like, no. But after my sighting at the age of 16, I don't know, it was probably a good 6 months or so, I started kind of looking around into it. But at that time, I'm not going to say the internet was fresh, but it wasn't a wealth of knowledge and reports like it is today.
Right. Yeah.
I did actually make a report with BFRO because it just would not get off of my mind. I mean, it would replay over and over, and I was plagued by nightmares, and I was like, something is here. So I actually made a report with BFRO, reached out to them, and they reached back out. And a few members come and did a little research at the house, found some odd things in the woods, like some possible tracks, and said, we think you got something. It's a Class A sighting. And I just went down the rabbit hole from there.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about the rabbit hole. Go ahead. Tell us about your rabbit hole, because I love hearing rabbit hole stories. Because it's definitely it's a problem.
Gosh, I mean, being out in the woods, I was a straight up Bigfoot researcher. Like, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for answers. I want to see this creature again, and I want to see it more than just it skittering by me in the woods and seeing an arm. I want to see this up close. However, while researching, we've seen orbs, lights in the woods. I hate to say orbs, but it's just lights in the woods. They appear to be intelligent. They will follow you. I had an amazing sighting in North Carolina. It just blew me away. One of the best actually sightings I've had, and I'd put it right up there with Bigfoot. Of these lights, they morphing from 1 to 2 to 3, and then we're circling around each other and started coming towards us.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not Bigfoot, and that's not normal. I don't feel it was a ghost, but.
So, okay, well, let's talk about that just briefly, only because me and Yvette saw the same thing over our house while we were coming in to park the boat. Then there were these I don't know, I think they were balls, but they were lights, but it was in the daytime, and they were kind of shimmering. But they were like 3 going into 1, and then out of 1 would come 20 of them, and they would kind of act like flock of little birds. And then they would all disappear. And then they'd all come back and they'd be black. And then they'd come back and they'd be shimmering again. And they're swirling all over everything. Amazing. But it's kind of what you saw, but at night.
Right. Yeah. Right. These were huge balls, like you said. I mean, round. You could not see any object that was illuminating. I mean, there was no source of light. It was just balls of light, amber orange colored light, and they were quite big. However, when I pulled out my phone, I could not see them. I pulled out night vision, absolutely nothing. I pulled out.
Okay, so you pulled out not thermal, but night vision.
Also pulled out thermal. I carry night vision and thermal with me. I used to carry just like an old school digital camera as well. I don't anymore, but it fried the camera. On thermal, which I found interesting.
Okay, stop, back up. Sure. Because you said these lights burnt out your digital camera. Because my iPhone, I was filming these balls, I was probably 20 feet away from them. And my iPhone, I went in to look at all my beautiful footage I was so excited about, and my phone wouldn't turn on. And I took it in for repair. They said it's a brick. It won't even conduct electricity anymore. And then all of our low voltage burned out in our home. Yvette did get a little footage of them when they were already quite a ways off, because she saw me filming. She didn't need to film. So, and finally I said, get your phone out, start filming. But they were already like way past the neighbor's roof. They started moving off. But I find it interesting. You said your equipment burned out too.
Yes. And so,
gosh, I wonder what in the world, I wonder what they did to our organs. They fried our cameras. I wonder what happened to our kidneys, Alex.
Jeez.
I mean, think about it. That's some kind of radiation or electrical radiation. That's a surge, like an EMP. I mean,
agree.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm sorry. So you're trying to get these on thermal and film them and
Nothing.
nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And thermal, nothing. And I was thinking, oh, light equals heat, something will show up. Like, I was like, nobody's going to believe this. I mean, I wasn't alone in the woods. There was probably 6 or 7 of us, but I was like, oh my gosh, like this isn't just a 5-second encounter. I'm sitting here watching these light balls. I've got to get this on film. Nothing. I tried. I got nothing. But it will forever be in my memory.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't met, anybody really that's seen multiple things where they're going into each other and then coming out. Like, so what did you see? You saw more than one unit come out of one ball?
It was almost like it morphed from one large to 2, and then another 2 come out of it, and they were circling around the center ball, I guess you could say. And then it started floating towards us.
Wow.
And then that's when another group member turned on his crazy high powerful headlamp and said, he said, I'm not out here looking for this. I'm looking for monsters. And as he lit up the area, they were gone.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Another interesting fact was our K2 meters were going off the charts when that was happening.
What kind of meter?
It's Kristen? A K2. It kind of, the K2 meters. And
I don't know what that is. What is it?
Picks up like EMF.
Oh, okay. So it's like an EMF meter.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
And we continued on our journey to where we were researching that night. We really didn't have anything happen, but as we were coming back and we crossed that same area where the orbs were, we didn't see them again, but the K2 meters pegged off the charts.
Crazy.
Yeah. No.
Thank you, Patrick, for joining us. He said he's got a tornado warning. He has to go. I'm like, yes, I'd say.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
protect yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hope you're safe. Get in the basement, Pat. Anyhow, so tell us about your Bigfoot hunt. I mean, where is this taking you? Is it always just been in Georgia? Who do you go with? How often you go? And what other stuff has happened to you?
Well, we travel all in the southeastern U.S. So we're not just in Georgia, and we have many members just scattered. And I'm with a group called ASOG, Anomalous Studies and Observations Group, headed by Trey Hudson. And he's currently working on the Meadow Project. He actually already has a book out.
Oh, cool.
So research with that group. I was with NGCR, North Georgia Cryptid Researchers, but sadly, Bob Grumpy Wilson, he was from the TV show Killing Bigfoot, renamed to Bigfoot is Real. He passed away from cancer earlier this year. So the group it's so sad. So sad. So our group, NGCR, dissolved. That was his group, but we will continue to research in his memory. So mainly with this group is probably 20 plus members, and we will research more so in the cooler months, about once a month, once every couple of months, and just try to get out in the woods. Sometimes the whole group can't make it. It's hard to get schedules together, but we'll just choose a state, choose a location, and here we go. We pack up and go.
So how often do you go, Kristen?
In the winter months or cooler months, about once a month, once every couple months.
all right.
Sometimes we'll have like a twice in a month. Just trying to get people together, and also we travel several hours to get to wherever we're going, so we have to work around everyone's work schedules, and life just gets in the way of research a lot of times.
Yeah, and people have no idea how costly it is to do these things. It costs a lot of money, takes a lot of gas. You have to have a spouse that's willing to, allow you to go off and do that. So
Right.
do you feel that your goal is to just see one, or do you want to gather? I mean, what's your goal?
My personal goal is to see one up close and personal. I want to see detail. I want to see the face. I want to see something more than a thermal image I have on a video, or more than a massive dark shadow in the woods that I catch a glimpse of, an arm or something. I want to see one head to toe. That's my personal goal. But I mean, I'm also out there to capture evidence to share with other people. Video, cast, like I've casted some tracks. So it's that I just want to show everyone, hey, this stuff is real. If you don't believe me, that's fine. It's okay. I'm not going to be mad at you, but it's out there, and this is the proof I have.
Did you have photos and things that you want to share? I don't want to forget. And what kind of stuff do we have, Alex?
We had some pictures of casts and a lot of evidence stuff. I can just start throwing up
Yeah,
photos.
you can throw some stuff up, absolutely. And then if you've got comments, Kristen, those I'm looking at the
I'll just
toes.
Give you a quick rundown.
Go ahead and explain this picture.
So this is a tiny little print, and I actually casted it. Found this at the same time that a larger print was casted as well, on my parents' property, close where I had my first encounter. But you can see the cute little toes, and unfortunately, for where it was in the creek bank, I could not get the heel part of it. But that was the front part of the foot, and that's the one good tract where you can actually see toes very well.
How wide? I'm blind. I can't read the ruler.
A little over 2.5, almost right at 3 inches wide from toe to toe.
Okay. Alrighty. You can throw up something else, Alex. Ooh, that looks interesting. Ooh.
Yeah.
This was something. I captured this in Elbert County as well, about 2 or 3 in the morning. I took off riding. It was my first time using my FLIR with a DVR. So I was trying it out, and way back in the country, ran up on this, hollered at the driver, hold up, stop. I've got something. I'm looking at the screen trying to figure what this is. And this is a still from actually a video. There is movement. It is a good ways away. The brush was probably waist tall on me, so you can't quite see the lower half of it.
Can you blow that up, Alex? Zoom in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And is there video that goes with this, or was it just a still?
Yes, this is actually stills from a video I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And on the video, when it moves, you can actually see the arms more. At times, the head becomes more cone-shaped and more defined, but there was movement. I didn't say anything when the video was being taken. I'm sitting there staring at the screen going, what is this? What is this? And because I didn't say anything, he started to take off. I'm like, no, 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 go back. So he threw it in reverse real quick and it was already gone. It bolted as soon as we started to move.
Oh, wow. Go ahead and zoom out again. Is that a tree? A big tree?
Several trees. Yes. It's in the woods and it kind of opened up a little bit. It was dark. I couldn't see that clearly, but you could see it's a bunch of trees. It opened up somewhat where it was more of a like a grassy area.
Did you notice? Did you notice, Kristen, the footprints, the glowing where it stepped? Do you see those footprints?
Yes, yes.
Is that what you believe that is?
I don't know because as it moves, the glowing around it kind of moves. But I'm wondering if it's just I had it set on red hot.
Well, do you see those dots?
I do.
By its butt. There's one there, and there's one in the background. Now they're. I don't know, and it seems smaller. It just looks like those are where it stepped.
And it could have been like because it was moving. I mean, it had movement to it. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see the video sometime. Maybe you can get it to Alex. I'd love to see it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. And where was this in?
This was Elbert County, close to Lake Russell State Park area.
Lake Russell.
Yeah, Lake Russell.
Very cool. Anything else, Alex?
How do you want to explain this guy?
A smaller little tree twist that I found close to where we were camping at a base camp. So it was odd. I mean, I'd been there a while, obviously, but who goes around twisting trees like this way off of a path that we just happened to stumble upon?
Yeah, and that's like tree pulp from being twisted, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm seeing all those fibers.
Yeah, and actually the top part of the tree is twisted down towards the ground. So the top part is still attached. It's just been twisted around and around and pushed down.
How many times do you think that tree was spun?
Good 5, 6.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, by the way, we have Buttworm back. Hey, Buttworm. Gosh. The names. Okay, what do we have here?
This little guy was filmed by Dave Moser. Again, this is a still from his video. Okay. I was researching with him that night, and he has a thermal. And as he is panning, he hits this little, we call it the troll figure. I don't know. It's on the side of a tree. And as he hits it with his thermal, it kind of swings behind the tree. And then as he starts panning off of it, you see it swing back around. And if you kind of adjust the colors, blow it up, and you can see the dark, which is what we're thinking is the eyes, the little ears.
Right. It looks like a small child or a monkey or.
It does.
Can you blow that up, Alex, so we can? And there's video that goes with this.
It is. It is a video.
Yeah, when you see if you actually have video, then you can't say it's your imagination on where eyes are. So you can clearly tell that those are the eyes. Does it turn its head ever?
No, it just swings. It stays focused, but swings behind the tree and then swings back around as he pans off of that. So and it almost looks like it has this wild troll hairdo going on. And we went back in the daylight and found the tree, and you could see where the bark had been kind of scraped off, like something was there. So we're like, we've got movement. We got this on the tree. That it's something. What? We don't know, but it's something.
So you're saying that is maybe like swept back hair?
That's what we were thinking. Like maybe it looks like it's almost even got like a little widow's peak going on.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it could have some hair.
Yeah, who knows? God knows what that is. I'd love to see the video on that too. Stills are, they're cool, but man, video really is really amazing.
Yes.
Very cool. What else do we have?
That was the final casted track of what I call the baby footprint.
Oh, okay. David Ellis, take note. He's got a really cool juvenile track. Can maybe do some comparisons with that. It's cool.
Mhm.
Very neat. Yeah, you can very much see the rounded toes. They're
Mhm.
kind of dug into the sand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're quite. It almost you can see more detail on the track if you have it. If you're holding the cast in your hand than
Yeah.
the picture.
And I am not a track expert, so I leave that up to other people. But it's interesting. All right.
And then this is a tree structure.
Yes, yes. In the woods. I mean, we get way off trail and we just start hiking. And this was found way back in the woods. But a tree's been pulled over, propped up by another little tree, and then wrapped around and held down by the tree you can see laying on the ground. Like it was not done in nature. We could not explain this. But yet, who is going to go deep in the woods and do this? For what purpose?
I don't know. A lot of weird things can happen with snow load, but that definitely look. Can you zoom in on that joint, Alex, where the straight up thing is the other side of it? There you go. So it's being propped up by that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's being propped up.
Yeah.
And then the top part kind of wound around the trees already laying on the ground and wedged so that it doesn't just go right back up.
Wow. That's cool. All right. How many more do you have, Alex?
I've got about halfway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had that much stuff. All right, go ahead and throw another one up. You don't mind this, do you, Kristen?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. Like, this is what I do. This is what I like doing. I can share what I have found.
Now, that doesn't look natural.
No. This was during a overnight bivouac trip. We took off through the woods again and way off of absolutely no trail. We were using topo maps to navigate, and we come upon this on top of a ridge. Several trees kind of put in this figuration. For what reason, I don't know.
Can you zoom in on that, Alex? Somebody's going to decode these things at some point. I know there's some fulcrum math that goes into some of these.
Yeah. But they're all just propped up against each other in like the perfect angles.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to move one, it would be like Jenga. Everything would fall.
Yeah, Jenga. That's the game I'm thinking of. It looks like Jenga for giants.
Right, Jenga for giants.
Giant Jenga. So I came upon one of these things that was kind of similar to this, except it was the one log in there was like 80 feet. The weird part is I didn't have a camera with me. I didn't even have my phone. So I went back the next day. It was gone.
Really?
Gone. And I'm thinking, that was like 4 tons of logs.
No.
How did 4 tons of logs in the forest, it's just suddenly disappeared? And the logs were even gone. It's just, I was mystified.
And something strong as a
I don't know. That was just weird. Anyhow, have you gone back to this one?
I have not. Because that trip, I thought, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to make it. They like killed me that weekend.
Oh, okay.
I was having some lung issues and the
those.
weather, and I was like, oh boy. So we've not navigated back down through there. That was a tough hike.
Anyhow, that's a cool picture. Go ahead, Alex.
Upside down tree. Why? How? I don't
That
know.
is so weird. That's
Yes.
All right, blow it up. Blow the bottom part up, Alex, so I can.
I know it's not that huge of a tree, but even trees that size, they're quite heavy. But this thing had been rammed into the ground. The root ball was at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And why would somebody, that's my thing is, could a human do this? Possibly. But why would they do this way out in the middle of nowhere? For
Yeah.
what reason?
Were there other trees that were damaged around it, like from a tornado maybe, or was everything just look good?
Everything was normal. Now, there was a tree structure somewhat close by that we had found, and I can't remember if the picture's in there, but it's somewhat in the area. Other than that, no tornadoes, no storm damage, a normal forest floor.
Wow. All right, next.
Whoa.
Oh,
look at
now you're in
that.
my wheelhouse. Fingerprints.
This was
Yes.
a primitive camping area where they did have a little privy. There was a sighting of a Sasquatch by a group member. I think it was a weekend before. It was stormy, rainy, just nasty. I actually went up there the following weekend to do some research, and they're like, we've got to show you this. This is one handprint of many on the outhouse, many. And that is actually my hand up against it. And it was humongous. Like it just took my breath away. I was like, oh, this creature's huge.
Is this picture high res? Can you blow that up, Alex? More? Is this a pretty high res photo? I'd love to have a fingerprint expert take a look at this and see if he can spot anything.
I actually have another picture of, I think it's a thumbprint, I believe, and you can actually see more detail.
All right. Yeah, I'd like to. Can you get this, Alex? You have this, do you not?
Yeah, I have it.
Good. Can you get it to me? Would you mind if I send it to a latent expert?
Oh, not at all. And I
Oh,
can shoot
great.
over the more clear picture of a single digit as well.
Wow.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, you see that I don't know if you've heard about the white stuff that we think maybe it could have a different chemical content compared to humans or other primates. And it could be DNA in the skin oil.
Mhm.
And of course, you have the latent details. So it's 3D evidence.
Yes. And this was actually more mud. It was a muddy handprint. They're all muddy handprints.
Well, that's what I used to think, but maybe it's not
Or maybe-
mud. See,
Really?
everybody, that's what I thought for years. Mud.
Uh-huh.
I realized one day it's not mud.
Really?
It's a skin oil.
Oh,
It's real
wow.
thick.
Yeah, this was thick.
Yeah,
And
it
we-
looks
we
like, no, this looks like the alba vernix that we talk about. It's
Ah,
surface
yeah.
skin lipids.
We were putting together, it was rainy, muddy, messy when this animal creature, Bigfoot,
Yeah.
well, I'll just say Bigfoot, come up to the outhouse.
No,
and
it
was
looks
being
just like the
sequined.
alba vernix that we're after. Yeah, no, that's really cool. Get that picture to me, Alex.
Will do. I'll
Very
send
cool.
it.
Yeah, very cool. All right, next. Oh, there we go. Interesting.
Ooh, that's a footprint, right?
That is the footprint.
It's a weird one though. It's got a
Yeah.
narrow, kind of a narrow heel, but
heel.
I don't know. You know what's so hard about looking at footprints with forest duff is the duff, the little sticks and things get in the print, and they make your eye go to different shapes, right?
Mhm.
Can you zoom in on that, Alex? So the toes look kind of squared off, but they're probably not.
Yeah.
It's just those sticks are broken,
Mhm.
and they
Yeah.
make that straight line.
This was taken close by where I had what I call the juvenile footprint, where I casted it. And this was found, and you could follow a track line that come around the creek area, and it zigzagged up the side of a ridge as it traveled further in the woods. Just weird. It was a zigzag as it would go further down. And this footprint here was about the clearest you could get. I don't know if it was coming up, is almost like it stopped quick enough to make a deeper impression or more clear impression, because we tried to kind of move sticks and stuff out of the way and the leaf litter, but this one was great. This one was perfect. The others not so clear, so this was actually the only one I did cast.
Very good. Back it out again, Alex. You see the wide now? I'm just having a hard time figuring out where the heel is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. The heel is hard to see. It's a little bit past the ruler.
Is it like right here?
Right in there, yes.
Okay.
It is more of a narrow heel.
It's interesting. All right, next.
That
This is
is
cool.
the cast.
Oh, that's the cast
That-
of what
yes,
we
sir.
just saw. Well, I shouldn't have been staring at the. It's so much easier to see details.
Yeah, you can actually see more detail in the casting.
Yeah. It's interesting. Once again, I am not a track expert. It's out of my wheelhouse. Go ahead, Alex. Put another one up.
Another tree structure.
This is a cool one.
It looks like the bark has been removed.
Yeah.
And the group that I'm with, actually, like I said, that has dissolved. This structure was found by that group some years before I come into the group. So once I finally got to see it with my own eyes, it began to rot and kind of rot away. So they could see it kind of deteriorating over the years, but it was still there. I can't remember how many years it had been there, like 4 or 5 years already. But nothing had moved it, nothing had torn it down. It's just kind of deteriorating. But they had found it, marked it on GPS, and they're like, when I first made my way in there, they were like, we got to show you this. You'll find this pretty interesting. So I was like, oh, got to take a picture of that. I can't explain it.
Alex, throw up Francesca's comments. She said, absolutely fantastic captures, Kristen.
Oh,
You've
thank
done very
you.
well. There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, there it is.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, that's super heavy. See, that's getting big. Those are heavy.
Yes.
I don't think Alex could lift those. Could you, Alex?
No, I got more. You kidding me?
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, picture it kind of this, but like the main log was almost 80 feet long and then all disappearing the next day. It's like, 6 logs. It's like, it's impossible. They were gone. Fantastic. All right, next. Is that the same footprint?
Yeah, that's the same footprint without the ruler.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. All right. What do we have here?
So this is another still from a video. It's dead center of the frame. It almost has like a little round head, and it's like its little eyes are looking back at me. I captured this on thermal November of last year. Way back in the woods, a good little hike back. Interesting story is me and a couple of researchers were sitting, waiting on something. And I started feeling creeped out. Like, I call it the heebie-jeebies. I was like, something's here. Something's watching me. I don't feel right. Like, something's here. So what I learned from the group, whenever you throw your thermal or any kind of device up to your eye, hit the record button. So I did that.
So was this thing moving?
It did. It moved. When I first threw it up, this is actually one of the first stills I took from the video. It's standing there looking at me, and I continue to focus on it. I'm not seeing it as I'm recording. I've got my thermal set on black hot, and this is kind of like meshing in with the temperature of the trees and everything. It's not like a black hot as I would kind of expect to see, but I'm looking through also a little bitty viewfinder. I mean, I miss it. I miss it as I'm standing there looking straight ahead at it. But on the video, you can see it. It stands there, looks at me, and then it starts to turn and like walk away. And then it turns back and stares at me again.
Yeah, see, that's interesting. I mean, if there's actual movement, then maybe you've got something. By the way, Lay, she asked, if you have video evidence to send me, you can get a hold of Alex. Alex can set up a Dropbox. You can even give him the Legend Meet Science Dropbox. You can drop the footage. He'll tell me and give me the address to the footage, and I'll look at it digitally. And if it's really interesting, like, oh my God, and that maybe we would want to get the original card or the original tape. So nobody uses tape anymore. Everything's just on a card. So anyhow, that's really interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Is there any more, Alex, or is that it?
Yeah, one more.
Oh, okay.
This interesting.
All right, you got to explain this
structure.
one.
Another tree twist about 8.5 foot up in the air.
Yeah.
And it's actually a decent sized tree, about 4 inches in diameter. Where I had my sighting at the age of 16, this was about 5 years ago. But something had pulled the tree over and just twisted it. And the tree was still alive.
That's interesting. Once again, I'm not an expert on tree twist. We do have a structural engineer that pretty much has been studying these, because there's things people don't know that he's discovered in these twists.
Interesting.
That tells him whether it was natural or it was grabbed, and this has been done to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's like the biggest tree twist ever.
It was, we couldn't find any way nature did this. Like, there was no other tree that had fallen, or no storms had come through. And it was fresh when we found it, so that we should have seen a tree or something fall. We even thought about like a microburst. Maybe a microburst happened, but the tree standing right next to it, nothing damaged.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see if something's maybe a 10-foot Bigfoot could grab that and just go twist. How high up in the air is the branch?
About 8 or 8.5 foot high up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a 10-footer could reach it easy. Even an 8-footer could reach it.
Yes, something.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah, I see the bark. It's definitely twisted. I mean, I'm not going to go so far as to say that nature couldn't do it, because nature does all sorts of weird stuff. It throws straws through trees, in tornadoes and storms from straight line winds and tornadoes.
Yeah.
But no, that's really, really interesting. It's the biggest tree twist in history, maybe.
I don't know about that. I've seen some pictures of some larger ones, but this was definitely strange. It was odd. We can't just say nature did it, but I mean, of course, we're not going to say 100% Bigfoot did it either.
Right?
because
Yeah,
we
of course.
don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Very interesting. That's it then, Alex.
That's it
on the pictures. Okay, so what do you think these things are? What conclusions have you come to?
Oh, God.
Anything goes. There ain't no right answer.
It does.
For sure.
It does now. I always said like these were flesh and blood monkey, highly intelligent monkey, but now I don't know because of some of the things I've seen. I mean, following a track line of footprints and then they disappear. How fast some of these move, that I don't have it on video, but I've had friends that have captured what they're calling a tree runner. I mean, unbelievable speeds these things move at. And it's almost like a ghost going through the woods.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
So you've become more open-minded is what you're
Yeah.
saying. You're open-minded that they may not be flesh and blood or metaphysical, I think is the term.
Yes.
Where they're physical when they're here. They can break sticks and twist trees, leave footprints, but then they can gone.
Yeah, or maybe there's two types, I guess you could say.
Could be two.
I don't know. That's why I'm out there doing what I'm doing, because I have so many questions. And the more I get out in the woods, the more I find and the more I question stuff, because none of this makes sense.
Yeah. Flat Rockland says it's the speed that makes me go, So obviously he's witnessed something too.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me an example of another story you've heard or some other, anecdotal story about their speed? Or is it just based on what you've witnessed?
Mainly what I have witnessed. I mean, of course, I've read so much and heard so many encounters, and a lot of them line up as how fast they move from like tree to tree. It was like the blink of an eye. They'll move 30 feet in like 2 seconds, like crazy speed. But then it's also what I've seen in the thermal videos that has been captured by team members, to where I'm seeing this with my own eyes. I don't know. It's just, I don't see how something like a monkey could run that fast, and also how they run. It was like the one I'm talking about was actually filmed by Dave Moser as well. It was like a ghost of how it was like transparent. It was so fast, like whew, gone, tree to tree in the blink of an eye. But you could see detail of head, arms. You knew it was something.
Yeah. I've often wondered if they use like one tree to pull themselves, or, almost leap from tree to tree using their arms their long arms to propel. In other words, they could be so strong, their feet are hardly even touching the ground.
Yeah.
They're just
True.
pulling themselves along.
Yeah. The video I saw, there was no pulling of arms. It was like from behind one tree, dead stop, to another tree, dead stop. Yeah. You could see the arm movement of it running.
Yeah. Yeah. Tristan said maybe it was a buttworm that twisted that last tree.
Hey, I don't know. I didn't see it for myself, so.
And where have you been, Tristan? We haven't seen you in a while. Hopefully you're okay. Anyhow, so have you collected any things? I mean, you've casted. We saw some of your castings, but have you collected any hair? Is it something you're looking for?
If I find it, I'll collect it.
You haven't. Okay, so you
I've
haven't
not
found any
any
hair.
Yeah, none that I can say is a known hair. I mean, I found some deer hair. I've found hair from other animals I can easily recognize and identify, but none that makes me go, what is this?
Yeah. I've gotten a lot of hairs from like power line cuts. It looks like they're itching their back on branchless poles. They're wood.
Right.
They're rough, but there's no branches on them.
Oh, kind of like the bear you guys showed earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we'll find them on these power line poles, snagged into the rough wood. So that's something to check. So what do you think what's the craziest Bigfoot story you've ever heard in Georgia or anywhere from somebody else?
I mean, of course, I go back to the old story of where the guy was pulled out of his camp area and taken hostage and held in the cave. And then he gave them tobacco and made them sick, and it escaped.
Yeah,
that's a crazy.
Yeah. No, I'm talking.
Yes,
that's the Albert Osman story. Yes.
Yes. But as far as
I'm talking about something, contemporary. From your other team members, anything that really compelling that.
Some stories of the vocalizations and the chatter. I think I actually saw something. Someone mentioned the chat, how they communicate back and forth. That's amazing to me. I know it's not a huge encounter, but for me, that goes to show their intelligence and that they do communicate. That they're not just some creatures running around in the woods, but the vocalizations and the chatter, the communication between them.
Have you heard, or any of your team members heard kind of human-like chatter?
Yes, we have. Yes.
Describe.
What I heard were voices, but it was like native language, though of course I couldn't understand a chatter. What they basically describe, and similar to Ron Moorhead's, what he captured on audio, is that this was a good little ways away. It wasn't close. But you could hear the chatter back and forth like two people having a conversation. So I've had that happen. And then on the same encounter or same research outing where I had filmed the encounter from November of last year, we were out in the woods and I heard my name called. And I've heard other people of having incidences where it's like someone says their name. So I don't know if that's Bigfoot imitating us humans and they're trying to get our attention, but I heard my name called out from the wood line, and it was no team members, and there was nobody else there.
That's so creepy.
Very creepy. Very creepy. But it was imitating what sounded like another member in our group, because I was like, did anybody else hear that? But I heard my name just as plain as day say, Kristen, like they're trying to get me to come towards them. Like it was almost like, Kristen, I'm trying to get your attention. Hello. But no one else heard it. But I heard my name plain as day. And I've heard other team members say the same thing, that they have heard.
Yeah, but is that possible that it was trying to lure you to hurt you or kidnap you?
I don't know.
To pull an Osman on you? That's what creeps me out about it, because, people have reported that, and you always wonder how many people walk towards that, and then they're gone.
Yeah. And like, it sounded like David. I mean, it sounded like a group member, the voice. But I knew he wasn't there because he was over in the other direction. The voice come from way in the thick woods, like briars, and just somewhere you wouldn't just take off in the woods and go walking. And it was like a Kristen, like, hello, come here. But I didn't go. And then I was like, I don't know what to do now, but I plainly heard that. But I'm not the only one in the group that has had that happen. People have had their names called.
Okay, well, somebody in our chat, throw up Sly Fox's comment, Alex. Can you read that, Kristen?
Uh-huh.
Says, so I'm not crazy, LOL. I heard one say Jeff when I was camping.
Yeah.
Now we know Sly Fox's real name is Jeff.
Jeff. He gave up his identity.
Yes, you just gave up all your identity there. But, if only every researcher could tell every story, we might be able to connect more dots.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I get so frustrated. And that's why I love doing this show, because some people say I interview too hard or I talk too much, but it's my chance to try to get info.
Oh, yeah.
And people will just, ramble on and they'll tell you lots of cool things, but it may not be what I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you mentioned the name, the first thing my mind goes to, and knowing David Paulides, is how many people have gone missing because they've heard their name called.
Right. And
then they walk towards it. And that's the end of that story. We don't know because they're missing.
Exactly. And everyone's like, well, what advice do you give if I want to go in the woods? I'm like, number one, do not go by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
No one ever walks into the woods saying, well, this is going to be the last hike of my life. You don't know what's going to happen out there. It's not just Bigfoot. Portals. I've witnessed a possible portal and filmed a possible portal. But what if we would have walked into it? Or maybe somebody's walking into a portal. They're gone. Not to mention you have humans that are out there just to hurt other people.
Right. Yeah, I doubt it would be a human. Another comment, Alex, do you see it there? It says, I've heard them say, hey, Janice, but in my voice. That's even double creepy. Okay, good night, everybody. I'm here.
That is so spooky.
I'm out of here. I gotta go. I have to leave.
No, thank you.
That's creepy. Oh God, I'm just trying to picture. Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah. Poor Janice. I know that scared her to death. I know her.
Oh, you do? Oh,
I do.
geez.
I'm out in the woods. I see a lot of people in chat. Greg Ogles. I research with him and Angie as well. And I see Jessica Jones. So I got a lot of friends out there.
Well, if anybody else wants to, if anybody researches with you and they want to hop on, we can get you a link.
Heck
If you
yeah.
want to just do an impromptu and hop on, if you want to join. So do you want to pick somebody to join you? We can send them a link.
Oh, wow.
We'll just get them on.
I know Greg Ogles, Angie, Jessica Jones is in there.
Does anybody want to come on? Just say, yeah, let's have an impromptu show here. Sometimes this works out really good, Kristen. Sometimes it's a big blah. They're like, I'm not going on there.
I know,
I'm in my curlers, or I'm in my pajamas. That's the beauty of people listening to these things. They can just be totally chill. It says, if you hear Doug while taking the trash, no, John, do not say those things.
Oh, Angie said she's a hot mess. Oh.
Yeah, see, that's why these things very seldom work out. If you do an earlier show, sometimes you can get somebody to come on. But anyway, if anybody does want to come on, just go ahead and just put it all caps. I want to come on, and we'll get you on. So let me fix my hair.
Let me get an orange real quick. If I go grabbing an orange, he'll be on in a second.
Oh, jeez.
It's awesome to have researchers that you out with that can back up your stories. Another reason I like taking people in the woods with me is if something happens, it's not just me going, you won't believe this. I mean, I have other people saying, yes, I was there, I witnessed this. And also different people, their perspectives may be different. And it's interesting to get their take on why it happened and what they saw. Because depending on where you're at, you may not see it from the same angle.
Yeah, no, that's true. So, yeah, a lot of people think, it says, like Robert says, just say Mood and Doug the moment he comes out of his front door. Yeah, exactly. It would scare the crap out of me, Robert.
And Greg
but I've been with a bunch of men where we got stuff going on too, and then I leave, not because I'm scared, because I have to go or whatever, and then they're out of there because they think I'm going to protect them. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to protect you. That's not happening.
Would you offer them up for sacrifice as well?
Sure, I can run faster than you can. And it's like we're going to Snell again, right? And the cabin got attacked twice last time, and that was last year. And it's scary. I mean, it really is kind of, because you're just, I mean, if they want to hurt you, they can hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing we can do about it.
No.
And it's creepy and it's scary because we still don't really know what we're dealing with.
Not at all.
And Robert, if you've seen all the crap I've seen in my day, I'm an old dude. If you've seen all the crap I've seen, you'd be scared to take your garbage out too. So it's just true. I laugh about it, but it's true. I am scared to take the garbage out. I'm not joking. So anyhow.
I see Greg Ogles. He said he will come on if he can get a link.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to alex@untoldradiom.com. alex@untoldradiom.com. Send Alex your email. He'll immediately send you a link. And we'll get you on. So who's coming on? Tell us who's coming on. Kristen.
His name is Greg Ogles. He's actually produced a couple films, working on another amazing one. And also is a fellow researcher. And he's
great.
the real deal. Another researcher. So, yeah.
So you've been out in the field with him.
I have.
Yeah. And so what's the strangest thing that's happened to you and Greg?
I haven't been researching with him too long. We've seen some orbs.
Cool.
Past few times, I mean, yeah, we've researched in close to the same areas, but our stories are so similar of his encounters, my encounters. We had an SC session that was pretty cool. What we call an SC session. It's a double blind, kind kind of experiment to where you have a questioner and then you have a receiver. Someone asks a question and the receiver's wearing the listening to the like a SB7 spirit box, picking up whatever they hear. They'll shout out the word, and they've got on also headphones as well, so they're not hearing the outside noises. And you're carrying on. It's like a two-way conversation between some unknown entity and yourself.
Is
And the
it recorded? Can that be recorded when this is going on?
Yes. We've actually got videos. And Greg was the receiver on one of the last outings and had some cool stuff happen. Yeah.
One that spider crawled up to them. Okay. Yeah, we're going to definitely have Greg tell that story. That's super, super creepy. Yeah, I don't care if garbage is garbage night tonight. It ain't going out. I'd rather get up at 5 a.m. and take it out then before they get here than I would going out. No, it's not happening. My head's on a swivel. And there's been times where like the sprinkler will come on and I almost have a heart attack.
Death by sprinkler, that would be great.
Yeah. No, but it's true though. When you've really witnessed things that are in the air, on the ground, in the forest, things walking, creepy things, you start realizing, this is a crazy world we live in.
It is.
It's not what people think.
No.
A lot of people just, they go to work, they come home, and not really doing things outside at night. And when you start doing lots of things out at night, you start realizing, there's things that do go bump in the night, and that monsters are real.
Yes, they are. They are real.
So what about your family, Kristen? Are they accepting of this? Are your parents still alive?
Yes, they are.
And so who else supports what you do in your family?
My whole family backs me.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, they do. And I come home and I tell them of everything that's happened, no matter how little it is or how large it is. I tell them, I show them the pictures, and they all support me. Of course, it's always a good laugh around the family dinner table, but at the same time, go for it, do it. They can't explain it either. So,
but they do. But some do tease you a bit.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, especially like my work family. They're awesome. They support me as well. But then also I get made fun of too. But it's okay. It comes along with the territory. Did Greg get a hold of you, Alex?
I haven't seen it come through yet.
Remember, it's Alex at UntouldRadioAM.com. So maybe Greg is... Maybe he's still fixing his hair. I don't know. Come on, Greg. Where are you? Alex at UntouldRadioAM.com. Send him your email address. Nothing's come through, huh? You've hit refresh?
10 times.
Oh, well. Maybe we're getting stood up. So... When have you been really scared? And do you think these things could be dangerous?
Oh, of course they could be dangerous. I wouldn't say I've been so much as terrified in the woods when something is going on. I'm more confused and trying to figure out what is happening. And it's not until later when I really start putting two and two together and realizing I cannot explain something that I get a little scared. It's amazing when you have an encounter, you're not terrified. I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. But this doesn't make sense. What is really happening? What is going on? And then later you start thinking about, it's like, wow, well, like the orb sighting, the balls of light.
Yeah.
And in that moment I was sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But then I start thinking, like you said, it fried my camera. What is this? Why was it coming towards us? If it would have reached us, what would have happened? And then I start getting a little freaked out. also at night when I'm sleeping in a tent by myself, that's when I get a little on edge. Because if everyone else is asleep, what if something grabs me out of my tent? I mean, I'm a Bigfoot burrito waiting to happen.
Did you hear Tony's story where the thing grabbed the guy's head
Yes.
through the tent fabric?
Yes.
Start squeezing his head?
Yes.
Oh, that
And
would
that's
do it for
what-
me.
Yes. I'm like, I've always said, as long as I'm awake, I'm okay, but please don't bother me when I'm in my tent trying to sleep.
All right, I just sent Greg the email, so he should be joining in a second here.
Thank you, Francesca, for posting that.
Yeah, thank you.
We didn't think of that. We didn't think of actually putting it in writing. That was beyond our thinking. We do stupid things
Yeah.
constantly. So people are, okay. People are going to ask Greg about this, ask him about that.
Yeah. He's got some good stuff. So hopefully he'll join us in a second.
Well, there he is.
Hey, you made it. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Look at the setup, this guy. Well, yeah, that's right. You're a filmmaker, right, Greg?
I am.
Well, it's nice to meet you. We've never met.
Likewise.
I'm a filmmaker too, I've been told, but I don't know. I've always considered myself just somebody that wants answers. And
Monster Quest. Yes,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite shows
sweet.
before I got into making films and all.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
So you might know one of the guys that's going to be in my next film, Adam Davies.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I just spent me and Adam were me and Adam. We were having some drinks and a lot of laughter. Alex and Adam were like that. I had to drag them apart. I had to pull them apart. They were starting to get in trouble, him and Adam.
Right. There's no telling what's going to come out of Adam's mouth.
No,
That's
nothing.
great.
He is. There is no filter there.
No, there's not.
But,
That's
yeah,
what
we
makes
had-
him so fun.
We had fun. Did you have fun, Alex?
Yeah, I did.
Look at the smile on his face. Yeah.
So
okay.
Kristen is an incredible researcher.
Yeah.
She
She
is.
really is. She's actually going to appear in our next film. I have produced one film that's already out. It's called The Legend of the Downy Booger, and it's just two guys and a camera. We knew absolutely nothing about making documentaries or films or anything, except for he did. My other mate, he's my editor. But I knew nothing, absolutely zero. But I knew enough to surround myself with at least other people who might know a little bit about it, right? So, but it took a few years to produce, and it's called The Legend of the Downy Booger. And if anybody doesn't really know, in the South they call it the Bigfoot's boogers.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? What's with the booger?
I don't know. It's just a term that, Southern folks came up with them, and the boogeyman, that's where all that stuff come from.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to research an old legend that came from out of Alabama. And believe it or not, we have lots of sightings here in Alabama as well as over in Georgia. So what we had really set out to do was just keep some of these old legends alive and not let them die. And
They won't die, Greg. They're being fueled every day. They won't die. They're not going to die.
A lot of people hadn't heard about this one, so we had to go test the veracity of it. And lo and behold, man, we found some crazy stuff. Absolutely
cool.
crazy.
Well, tell us. Okay, so Kristen, you said that you guys saw something together, right?
No, we've seen some little orbs together.
Yeah,
I think we heard disembodied voices. I believe we were on the same one, same trip. That one, shadow people in the field.
Yes,
I missed
saw
the
my
shadow
first
people, but
out
Yes.
Okay, tell us about the shadow people in the field that you both saw. Let's talk about this.
Well, at least for me, I had never seen a shadow person before, and we were out in the meadow, just researching, because the meadow is going to be part of my next film project, right? So we're out researching. I'm sort of just looking into the veracity of all the claims and everything, and just sort of taking everything in. And I'm a newcomer, right? So I didn't have a whole lot of high expectations. But so Trey Hudson and I were out in in a field just together the first time I had seen one, and I saw this dude that was only from the waist up just run across the field over toward another group of people. And when it got over to the edge of the field where the wood line was, then it turned into an orb, like a little small, little round, glowy orb, or at least an orb shown up right where that thing ran to.
Right.
And I was like, it was the darndest thing. I was like, hey, Trey and I was talking about it, and I said, I wonder if it's spying on some people over there. And lo and behold, there was another group that was on a trail right there where the woods were, and there was a person in that group that was just got so uncomfortable because they felt like they was being watched. And they eventually started moving down the trail and then linked back up to where we were. But as they started moving down the trail, the orb started following them. And I was like, "Hey, look! It's checking them out. It's following them," because you could see when it was moving. But
okay, so a disembodied person
mm-hmm.
that had no bottom.
Had no bottom. It wasn't wearing pants.
He didn't have any legs.
No.
No
so
legs,
it wasn't
no
wearing
pants.
pants.
No legs, no pants.
No legs, no pants.
And it
Why
ran
don't
towards.
have legs.
And did you see this too, Kristen?
I missed that, but I was
You're
out
lucky.
in another area of the field, and the team member I was paired up with, we were hearing voices coming from the ridge that were not team members. We were hearing voices, but we could not see the shadow person or the orb. However, we heard voices originating from that area. And the team members, we were pretty quiet at times. You could hear them talking and moving around, but this set of voices, it wasn't any of the members. Right.
I believe Kristen was there when I went through that SD session, the Estes session while I was there. If anybody has not gone through one of those, it's one of the weirdest encounters that.
Okay, well, explain. Okay, so you're in the woods in the dark, and you're doing this in the woods in the dark.
We are. We're out camping, and we come back to camp, and
Your typical thing.
Yeah, but we're still way out in the middle of the woods. So you put on these earbuds that's attached to a ghost box, right? So as this ghost box is running, you're putting on some headphones, kind of much like these, except it's noise canceling headphones, and then you get a blindfold over on top of that, so it's like sensory deprivation.
Yeah.
And all you can hear is the noise coming through the ghost box, and what you're instructed just to say the words that you recognize from the ghost box. So as this is going on, there's somebody that's asking you questions, and supposedly, as the theory goes, is that if there's any entities around, it can answer through that ghost box, and then you can hear them, and then they can answer essentially through you. And I can tell you, it was the weirdest sensation I've ever had. I was full of like these negative images, like apocalyptic images, like dead babies and stuff around. And I can say during the film, and this was filmed, and this will be in our film, and I don't know, I haven't seen the footage on this, and but a crewmate of mine saw a shadow person, and this shadow person tried to enter me. Tried several times, to go in and out of me, and it freaked one of my crew members out so bad he will not go back to that place.
Okay. Is this a special place, Greg? Like
It's
a
the
place where there's a bunch of legends?
It is.
Or is it just random? And then Brendan B wants to know, was when you saw this thing, was it just like a regular human sized?
It was human sized when I saw it. I would say human sized, maybe if a shade taller. It was not like a short person at all, but it was probably human sized. Maybe it could be even a little bit taller,
but
it was it was like the grass was pretty tall. So and it was like well above the grass, right? And I couldn't really. It was, being so dark. It's hard to judge how tall it was. But I would say human size. I wouldn't say Bigfoot size. No, I wouldn't say that.
They're just tall.
It was tall.
And have you seen a shadow person out there, Kristen?
I have not. Not
you have
yet.
not. So you think Greg's just full of it, right?
No, I've seen
joking.
some shadows and glimpses out of my corner of my eye, but not one dead on to where I can say total shadow person. But yes, I have seen shadows out there, and I don't know if they're spirits. I don't know what they are, but not a full-on shadow person right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, as far as like orbs go, I've seen all kinds of orbs. I thought I was seeing things.
So what do you think? What do you think the orbs are, Greg? I've seen lots of them too. What do you think?
Every time every time I've had Bigfoot encounters, I've had orb encounters. As a matter of fact, in the making of the Downy Booger, we weren't getting anything on night vision, right? So I had come to a suspicion that they could see into the Bigfoots could see into the infrared somewhat, and it was like shining a spotlight every time you tried to use night vision to try and find anything. So what we did is we went out and rented a real high end camera, and and we went to this place where we always saw the orbs, and we used a passive camera. That had an extremely high ISO so that you could actually see things in the dark without actually projecting any kind of light.
Was that like a Sony A7 camera?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So, and in doing so, we caught an orb, and they're pretty common where we are. But what we didn't see while we were there was this big giant thing crawling between us and the orb. Right. We didn't see it until we were in post-production.
Good night, everybody. Tune in for part 2. Oh my God.
And it is just freaky with this thing, like doing this spider crawl between us and this orb, and I was like, dang, we didn't see that while we were there,
You have a lot of explaining now to Greg to do.
Well, explaining on.
Oh, okay. Who all did you see this, Kristen?
No, I was not at this.
No, I didn't even know Kristen.
Oh, you didn't even know. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
So you got this thing crawling toward you or towards somebody else?
Well, it's like crawling on the ground, almost like it's just kind of like spying on us. And then we turn on the camera just like all of a sudden, and it seems like it's like in an oh shit moment, like, oh my God, I'm on camera, I don't know which way to go. So it like goes back and forth and then whoop, out of the view of the camera.
Was the thing crawling my Bigfoot?
I think so, because you can see the head, you can see arms, you can see the legs. I mean, what else would it be?
Yeah,
it's not an armadillo.
Well, you hear about you hear about these things doing that.
Right.
And I can tell this really quick story. There was a gentleman, a native gentleman I've known for many years. He's always been so nice to me when I want to do Bigfoot things at some of his facilities. And I'm like, you must have had a sighting. Come on, tell me the truth. Blah, blah, blah. For years, I'm bugging him. Tell me. One day we're out to dinner. Yvette's with. He's there. His mom and dad are there. And one day, after all these years of asking him, he suddenly tells the story of what he had seen. He was with a bunch of people, and this Bigfoot spider crawls over a log pile, gets over the top of the log pile, spider crawls, and then gets to the bottom of it, and then stands up and walks in the woods normally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So, yeah, this is a thing. There's other people. This is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was walking on its fingers, or was it?
Yeah, you can see it. Like it had its arms just way out, and when you blow it up on like a big screen TV, you can actually see the bends in the elbows and everything. It's just really, really weird. It's just weird because I count myself fortunate because we actually caught two phenomena in one frame. Because we're sitting there filming an orb, and then there's a dadgum Bigfoot or whatever it was crawling in between us and the orb. But you can see the orb just starts pulsating during this time. It's really weird. So I think somehow they're connected. Somehow these things are connected.
They could be. So you realize, Kristen, that he's upstaging you.
No, I'm not either.
We are all in this together. I mean,
Kristen is a fantastic researcher. She is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, no,
she's just being modest.
Well, she doesn't get scared very easy. That's for damn sure.
No,
I'm getting scared in my studio.
Now, in our second film that we're set to release in December, it's called Cryptic Expeditions: The Land Between the Lakes. And this is the one Kristen is in. However, we were at the Land Between the Lakes, and I actually got to see one at night. We were setting up filming, and as I was starting to get out some of the film gear, I heard this kind of sound. I'm like, "What's that?" I kind of ignored it at first, and then it did it again. And about the time I said, "Hey, did you guys hear that?" It did it again, but this time it was really, really close. And my crewmate, who won't go back to the meadow, has not a panic attack, but a dadgum terror attack. He goes, "We got to get out of here. We got to go. We got to go. We got to leave." And I'm like sitting here, "Hold on, man. This is why we're here." So hold on. So I'm like trying to grab him with one hand, right? And then I remember, I've got a camera So I'm sitting here trying to hold him with one hand, trying to get the other camera to go and making sure I'm getting the right buttons pushed. And I happen to look up and I see it. It's standing in front of the truck. We're at the back of the truck, and it's standing in front of the truck. And I can see, from chest up, and it's just standing there.
I'm about to go get a bag of popcorn.
That's it. But this thing, it's absolutely huge. I mean, it's gargantuan. You are talking about how they moved fast earlier. Kristen was talking about how they just kind of moved like a blur or whatever. As I'm sitting there looking at it, I've seen a lot of weird things, but I was still stunned. I was still very, very stunned. And I remember finally I've got a camera in my hand. I'm like, ooh. So I'm starting to get up, and I make the mistake of looking into the display screen, and it killed my night vision, so I don't see anything after that. But it moved from in front of the truck over to the wood line in just the blink of an eye. It was unnaturally fast. But, Adam was with us during this encounter.
Adam was?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Apparently he's a magnet. I haven't done any research with Adam, but apparently he's a magnet.
Yeah. You should hear him during this encounter. His military training takes over, right? So he's like, well, we're not going to get pushed around by this. We're going to push it back. In his little best British little accent.
Have you done research, Kristen, with Adam?
No, I've communicated with him on Facebook, but haven't researched with him yet.
You need to get out with Adam.
Yeah.
Adam, he's a hoot.
But
his real military training kicked in.
Okay.
And so we're four of us bundled together, and we're trying to push this thing back deeper into the wood line. So every time we take a step forward, it growls, just, and we have to take a step back, and it's like almost like a tug of war. We take a step forward, and it growls, and we go back, and eventually some more of a group coalesces with us, and we push it a little bit further back into the group. However, to Brett's to his credit, he was able to gain his composure and start filming, and we filmed probably the best sequence that I've ever seen. I was just lucky enough to be a part of it. It is absolutely
so. Some of this stuff is in your films, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So everybody in chat gets a free ticket, just so y'all know. That's what Greg said.
But yeah, it's going to be.
Well, where can we see any of this?
Well, my first film, The Legend of the Downy Booger, you can see it on Tubi TV or any of the streaming platforms. You can buy it at Walmart.com. Yeah, Tubi TV.
Say it again. Say the title again.
The Legend of the Downy Booger. You can just type in Downy Booger, Downey.
That's not like a word I write all the time. Downy
Booger.
Booger. Okay.
Boogers. Yeah, I started to get me a shirt that says I picked the Downy Booger. So that's going to be my shirts at conventions that I'm going to sell.
Okay, I picked the Downy.
But you're free to watch it. On Tubi TV. The next one, we're still in the middle of edit. It is, but the second one blows the first one out of the water. The second one's chock full of evidence and encounters. Yes, that's it.
What did you kick Kristen out, Alex?
Oh, don't kick her out, please.
I think he might have. She can just come right back in. Go ahead. What did you? Okay, so what just played? I wasn't paying attention. What just played?
That's the film, The Legend of the Downy Booger.
Oh, you're got to rejoin.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
That's Janice. She heard. And I heard too something say, "Hey Janice," in my voice, just like that.
That's interesting. Well, the natives even talked about I think it was Rick Knowles told me around a campfire one time that the natives translate, it was called syllable whispering, that the natives called it when these Bigfoots would repeat things, that he would say something at the fire, and then out of the woods would come that same sentence. So it's interesting the natives mentioned it.
It's absolutely 100% correct.
What's going on? I think the shadow guys in here screwed up our electronics.
Things up.
That happens. So if you had electronics go haywire, Greg,
oh my God!
Tell us stories.
Oh dear God. Okay. There was this one time we were interviewing people to be cinematographers, and I was taking this young lady out to the woods to kind of see the kind of work that we do. And I always had a habit of putting a little magnetic camera on top of the car once we got out straight into the woods. So that way, if anything happened, you could see it like on video. So as we're coming into the woods, we both see something big and black, kind of dark off in the woods, and we didn't get a really good look at it. But I'm like, hey, I got a camera on top of the car. I should be able to see it. Hey, Kristen.
Hey.
So anyway, so we go off on a trek and we have an encounter while we're out in the woods, you know. But when I come back, I'm going over the footage, and I've got great footage coming right up into where we go into the woods, and then right when I get in the woods, for 15 minutes, the film's corrupted, just absolutely corrupted. I mean, there's no audio nor video to it. And I was like, well, crap, you know, that's something I won't be able to see. Another time where you show this during the filming of the Downy Booger. We're up on top of a hill and we're investigating an area where it's like an old place where there's old trees there. So we're investigating there. As soon as we get up to the top of the hill, we have 4 cameras on us, and 3 of them completely die, and another one just keeps going on and off, on and off, on and off. And I have a compass on my walking stick, and it just like spins. It doesn't point toward north. And we're like, well, shoot, you know, we can't do anything up here. But, you know, our cameras are useless. Let's go back down and charge them up again. So we get down to the bottom of the hill, and boof, they all power back up. You know,
Wow.
It's just weird. And when we get down there just happen to be these horses that's down there. And one of them just goes berserk. It's just like it sees something up in the hill behind us. And it just goes berserk. We thought it was going to throw the rider. So she actually had to exit off the horse to be able to coax it to where she wanted it to go. But we've had many encounters where we thought we had great footage, and when we go back, it corrupted. Even the one where we're filming the orb, and we get the crawler, the audio on that was corrupted. So we got a visual, but no audio.
So, and you've had this happen too, Kristen. You said you had a camera burn out, or
Yes, and I've lost a lot of evidence. And what I may record once I get back home, the SD card will be blank. And we had an interesting thing happen with Bob Wilson that passed away when we were researching. He had an episode of missing time, and he couldn't remember how he got from point A to point B. He remembers going up under this tree. We go under to get to the meadow, and he says he remembers going up under the tree. Next thing, he's at the meadow, but in between there, it's a long little walk, and he has no recollection of making that walk. However, looking at his GPS, like the breadcrumbs, he would always keep the breadcrumbs on his GPS. It showed him hopping across the creek, back over, way up on the ridge. I mean, I saw it from my own eyes, but possibly some missing time. We don't know. We think maybe he was taken up. We don't know. However, the next day he said, I've got to get this back. You know, this shows proof of my missing time and shows me in all these locations I don't remember being at. And it was gone. The whole breadcrumb track was gone, deleted.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, no, it's
very common though.
My son was looking at a Bigfoot on research with a night vision, and it exploded in his face.
Wow.
Now, could be coincidence.
What a coincidence. I mean, what are the chances that during the one time that you're actually spotting a Bigfoot, that the thermal explodes?
Yeah, wasn't it there? It was a night vision monoscope.
Okay,
and it just went poosh. It literally, he's lucky he didn't lose his vision in that eye.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, I'm thinking about this stuff going, yeah. Well, I would think you're all full of crap if I wouldn't have had a brand new iPhone when I was filming orbs. Those orbs I said that were swirling all over the home. When I filmed all that, when I got in my garage where it's dark, where I could look at the footage, my phone never turned on. I took it to 2 repair shops, And they just kept, both of them said, your phone's a brick, sir. And so now I believe stories like this when I hear them.
Yeah.
But before that, I actually thought they were kind of BS.
Yeah. Well, we had a team member who laid his phone on top of his vehicle, and there was a possible UFO light in the sky. But his phone at one point started to vibrate on the top of his car, and it fried it. He took it to, I think it was Verizon. He took it into Verizon and was like, okay, now my phone doesn't work. And they're like, we don't know how this happened, but your phone is fried. Like, it's no good. So he had to get a new phone.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the thing though? It's a brick. I mean, 2 repair with Sprint was the first one. Then I took it to a guy that they said, well, this guy should be able to get your footage off. The other guy goes, no, your phone's a brick. Everything's a brick. And I went, what does that mean? He goes, it doesn't conduct even electricity anymore. And I'm like, okay. So that was that. $800 for the new phone. And then I had to replace all of our TVs. All of our low voltage burned out in our house. All of the HDMI ports burned out. And even like the DVD play, everything burned out. And then the burglar alarm, all the low voltage burned out in the house from that UFO, those orbs flying around our house.
Wow.
So that was like, oh, then my boat, which is electric. It was a big pontoon, but it's electric. It burned out the controller, the charging system. So I think in total it was like $8,000 for all these things. So orbs can be expensive, children. Remember that. Orbs are expensive.
Did you guys notice any odd health issues after that incident?
I've always had odd health issues, so I wouldn't know. No, I really wouldn't know. But I do find that it's scary. Something with that much EMF or radiation cannot be good for us.
Right.
Yes, I know. We're out in the field taking Geiger counters at times, and we're having spikes of radiation.
I just bought one just for fun. I'm bringing one up to Snell just for fun. I can't wait till the Border Patrol people find that. They're going to go, oh, you're going fishing? What?
Sure.
Yeah, that's when you put your hat on crooked and cross your eyes and go, we're going Bigfooting.
Yeah, before my family or friends found out I was a Bigfooter, they just thought I really loved to camp.
Okay, I was just looking at Greg Olson's comment. Funny, Greg. Haha. Something about a toilet and bricks. Okay. Anyhow, so Tristan keeps asking about Dogman. Have you guys had any experience with Dogman in the land between the lakes or somewhere else? And what are your thoughts on these things? Kristen, you can go first. Greg, you can wait.
I can.
I have not personally had any Dogman encounters that I know of.
Okay.
They may have been there, but none that I know of. I've heard secondhand encounter stories, like with Mr. Martin Groves. But
okay. Well, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Do you think they're real?
I do, because what are these people seeing?
Yeah.
I mean, they're seeing something, and I mean, Dogman's the name we give it because we don't know what it is, but they're obviously seeing something that has the head of a dog or wolf, a canine type body on two legs that can go down on all fours.
I don't think I want to see a Dogman. Francesca, you're pretty creative. You better throw Francesca's comment up. The last comment, Alex. Jesus. The abuse that we take, Alex.
Non-stop.
All right. Greg, go ahead. I was just joking with you. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine. Ladies first, definitely.
Tell us.
I've not seen one. However, I've got friends that have seen one. Even when I was a little kid, one of my childhood friends was telling me that she had seen a werewolf, and it was on top of like a shed structure, and it kind of looked down at her, and then jumped over onto a tree, and then went like slid down the tree, and then off it, into the woods. And terrified her. I mean, she was like 8, 9, and she kept telling me about it, and I was like, yeah, you're crazy, But of course, I was 8 or 9. I hadn't even really heard about Bigfoot back then. But now, looking back on things, I that's what I actually think she saw. And we've had werewolf stories for hundreds of years. And I think I'm very, very, very open to these possibilities now of other cryptids that are out there, because I've seen some really weird stuff. If you had asked me 10 years ago, did orbs exist, I would tell you you're crazy. But I've seen them. I've seen them on a regular basis now. The same thing with Bigfoot. I've seen them in person. I've seen them on FLIR. I've seen them like on like a night vision camera. So they exist. They exist. So does somebody else see something that's got a snout and looks like a wolf but part man? I'm not going to call him a liar.
Yeah, no, I've had my mind opened up. By the way, Nixon, I'm going to bring a periscope up to Snell. There you go. I'm still not looking directly out the window.
A periscope.
Yeah, periscope.
So look around the corner.
Hey, and Catherine said it might be a good time to try asking permission to film. Ask them to show you yes or no. If you get a clear no, keep your word. Couldn't hurt. It's not a bad.
Always do that.
That's a good.
I'm ahead of you, Catherine. Always do that. When I go out into the woods, one of the first things I do before I do anything is sit and meditate. And I try to connect to the surroundings around me. And, I'll verbalize, hey, we're out here, we're filming. We're not going to hurt you. If you will, just please show yourself. I always have a routine that I go through. And I just say it as respect. If they can hear me and understand me, then, they will know that I'm not there to harm them. However, I've not specifically gone out to look for Dogman. And there's not a lot of Dogman sightings in Alabama. That's where I'm from, by the way.
Who's going to report it, though?
Yeah,
nobody.
True.
Nobody's going to report. 1 out of 1,000 would make that report.
Right. I saw a werewolf.
Yeah, it's
Imagine how that would go.
Like you bring that up at a party, you're definitely doomed, right? You're not going to lose all your friends. You're done.
Exactly.
You're cooked.
Exactly.
By the way, somebody suggested you should do a film called Legend of the Downy Buttworm. It's the standing joke here. We have a gentleman, his name is Buttworm, in our chat.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
The Legend of the Downy Buttworm.
Buttworm, yeah.
I'm not going to operate the camera on that one.
No, we don't want to think about
that. No, I'm not going to operate the camera. Sorry.
No. We're just trying to make you famous, Buttworm.
Right.
So, do you think these things could be dangerous, Greg, or do you feel like some people I talked to said no? I feel 100% safe. I think Tony said that. Like he feels 100% safer with the Bigfoots in the woods than he does going to town.
Well, I'll tell you, as fast as the one moved that I saw, and it wasn't just one, there was more than one, but they could have had us at any time. If we would have been lucky enough to take down one, then you've got to contend with the other ones. But it moved so fast and was so big. I don't think the truck that was between me and the Bigfoot would have stopped it. I think it really could have picked the truck up and just moved it, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, this thing was huge. I've not been like threatened. I mean, this was an intense encounter. However, I do, in retrospect, I do want to leave it open to misinterpretation of what was going on.
Right.
The growls I had never heard before. However, I started searching, and gorillas make something that's kind of similar to what I heard. But it seems like they do that when they're happy or curious.
Yeah,
or,
right. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what we heard.
We call it. It's kind of a hum or a purr
Mm-hmm.
that they make.
And that's kind of what it was doing. And maybe it was just playing with us, and we was misinterpreting it as
It was a
being
growl.
aggressive.
Sure. Yeah.
So
That's a good answer.
yeah. I think there's potential for danger, obviously, because they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. Do they eat us? I don't know. Maybe
We don't know.
We don't know.
Dead men tell no tales.
Exactly. But what are you going to do? I don't think that we have a firearm on this that's small enough for us to carry that could put one down. I really don't. As big as this thing was, oh God.
Well, when you look at like Kristen's that giant log twist, and then I think back when the Snow Grove cabin was lifted off its block foundation while we're in it, right, and shaken, and I think back to a time where I was with my daughter and my other Blaine, Alex's brother, and his girlfriend and Joe, and the cabin got hit so hard it felt like a semi truck hit it.
Wow.
Like you could only describe it as a semi truck hitting a very solid. And that's like, we're not talking a little bit of strength here.
It's a lot of bit of strength.
It's not like 10 times a human. It's like 100 times a human. It's insane.
I would agree.
I mean, they could easily pick you up and rip you in two before you know it.
Yeah. Just
But
so
then again,
I would say, is the potential there? Yeah, the potential's there, but what are you going to do? So,
yep. All you can do is just, hope that you didn't encounter the 1 out of 1,000 or whatever. That's
it's having
psycho.
a bad day. Yeah.
Or having a bad day, or it's got a thorn in its foot.
Went
And,
through a divorce or
like,
something.
we'll talk about the missing people. Well, my son Blaine purposely went to the Boundary Waters where a man had gone missing. He had camped on the shore of this Whiskey Jack Lake, and I believe all they found was his wallet. That's it. So Blaine, of course, being my son, he hikes the 15 miles into the spot, camps there with his girlfriend. His girlfriend now has PTSD, or did at that time, his girlfriend at the time, because the tent got attacked by, big rocks that were thrown, rocks ricocheting near the tent, wood knocks, all these wood knocks are answering. And there's a recording on our channel, by the way, of that encounter. But he went there to see, is there Bigfoot activity where this man went missing? Wondering if there's a connection. I mean, that's a great way to do it, right? But it's kind of dangerous. So he thinks that man was lured out of his tent. As they were tempted to get out of the tent because it was scary. But they didn't, and nothing happened. But that connection could be there. We don't know. I just find it strange where a guy goes missing. There's all this crazy Bigfoot activity that they did not ask for, but they were very aggressive, And once again, that tape, if you want to hear the recording, the audio recording of Blaine, it's night 1 and night 2 is on our channel. Just go to videos and what is it? It's called The Bigfoot in My Camp or Bigfoot's in My Camp, Alex.
Yeah. It's on our YouTube channel.
Okay. Anyhow, sorry about that. But those are my thoughts. I do worry. And you guys don't worry. Kristen, you don't worry. Just doesn't even occur to you.
No, I mean, I can walk out into the supermarket and get shot nowadays just as likely as I am to get eaten by a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been out in the woods so many times, and I know that there have been Sasquatches and no telling what else around me. They had plenty of opportunities to snatch me up and nothing has happened. Now, have I felt threatened? That first encounter, I was a little nervous. But at the same time, no, I've gotten more scared out shopping, being followed by some guy wondering what they're doing than I have out in the woods.
Wow. Tristan had mentioned a growl that he had heard that sounded like a T-Rex. Yeah, that's scary. So what's the absolute scariest thing though that you've experienced, Greg?
Yeah, by far the encounter at the LBL. That was it by far, because of the growls that we kept hearing, and me trying to get my crewmate under control. I mean, it didn't help things at all. With one, like I say, one arm, I'm really trying to restrain him because he's wanting to like run away. I'm like, we're in the middle of the woods. Where are you going to go, man?
Yeah.
So, that was intense for multiple reasons. One, we didn't know what these things were going to do. And two, him running off is just a recipe for disaster. And maybe that's what happens to these people in the 411 stuff. They hear something like that and they start to panic. They just start to run off, and then maybe that actually triggers like a reaction out of either a Dogman or Bigfoot to run and chase, and like it would a bear. If you run away from a bear, it's just going to chase you.
Yeah.
But if you stay on your ground, it not so much. So it was a million things running through my mind during that encounter. So that was by far.
Have either of you ever heard a like a humming sound, like a hummingbird wings? I guess is one way to describe it, at night or during the day. Anybody?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, you have?
Oh, absolutely.
And Kristen's smiling like crazy. What the hell's going on?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a hum, like an actual humming noise, like a motor movement type hum.
Yeah.
I've heard that. And then you mentioned the flutter of a hummingbird wings. We've had something run between us, like not Greg and I, but Moser and I. You could hear the rubbing of its legs together that sounded like the flap up of hummingbird wings. Like that's how close it was to us.
Okay, can you be a little more? This is really interesting. So me and David Ellis are taking kind of a survey. Can you describe a little more what you mean?
As far as something running between us?
Yeah, but just legs rubbing together or whatever.
We were researching in an area with a lot of activity, Dave and I, and it was coming up to this well house. It was of someone's house, of someone's property way out in the woods that they were having a lot of activity. But it was coming up and slapping the well house as it would run by us. Now, we could not get anything on thermal or night vision, but you could hear it running, and it was coming so close and at such a high rate of speed as it run down and would slap the well house and go right by us. You could hear like but of its legs rubbing together. It's the only way you could think of is like that flapping sound, and it would slam the well house and keep going. But you were hearing footfalls, but you were hearing the legs rub together, like the flapping.
So it almost sounded like hummingbird wings, sort of.
You would think, yes. I mean, because it was going so fast.
Okay. It's got me thinking about. Oh, David's in here. Doug, tell them the story of Mrs. Caulfield. Yeah. So we even uncovered a story, or David did, from the 1934, I believe, of a woman who described the hummingbird sound, like hummingbird wings. And instead of, she expected to see a hummingbird in front of her when she looked up, but it was a Bigfoot with a baby. And, and then Tristan, who's also just by chance happens to be in here, is the one that got me started on this. because he made some amazing recordings. And so we keep meeting people who have other recordings. And then I heard it up at Snellgrove and recorded at least 2-3 hours of it, which sounds like a hummingbird, but in the middle of the night. I don't think so. Now, Leigh Warner says that she had heard it in Wisconsin at the Hayden Adventure, they call it. It's a 80-acre spot where there's Bigfoot activity in Wisconsin. And Leigh goes, she's heard it. So the more people we keep asking, the more that have heard this kind of weird humming. It's not a humming. It's like a hummingbird wings or like the wings of a big bug or something. Some people even said it's made their ear itch when they've heard it. So is this something they need? Okay, so Kristen, you're on point with that?
Yeah. I've heard, but I've also heard that humming, not necessarily a flapping, but like the humming you're also describing. At night in the middle of the woods, you really can't figure out where it is originating from, but you hear it, everyone else hears it, and it just is a constant humming noise.
Oh, Greg Olson says John Green also has a few accounts like that describes it as a nighthawk sound, which is nearly identical. Yeah, and I have heard nighthawks with their wings. They do weird things. They're like bug eating. They produce sonar. Nighthawks do. They do sonar. So yeah, I've got to do more research on that too. Greg, any humming sounds with you?
Oh, absolutely. I actually posed that exact same question in another. Yes, in another podcast, I had posed that exact same question because we had I had some footage that I thought was ruined because of this humming.
Can you get that to us? Can we listen to this?
Yeah, let me we try to scrounge it up. See if
all right, go ahead and just tell the story. I'm sorry, you got me all excited. I'm sure David is too.
Yeah. Well, during our earlier days, we would leave out camera traps and just to leave the camera running in a place. And there was this one where I was listening to the audio. I couldn't see anything on video, but I was listening to the audio, and the first thing that caught my attention on the audio was this drumming sound and what sounded like Indian chants, almost like an Indian song. So I was like, wow, did I accidentally pick up a radio station or something?
Okay, the drumming sound. Stop. Was it like a beat, like boom, boom, boom?
Yeah. It was like if you've ever been to a powwow and heard them do their songs, it was exactly like that.
I know, but was it almost like a heartbeat kind of rhythm to it, or was it quicker?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little quicker. It was like
it sounds like a drum, though.
Boom, boom. Yeah. It was a drum.
David, take note. We need to obviously talk to Greg because, this is something kind of new too that we're. Been thinking about, talking about, and have heard recordings.
So my first inclination was that I had accidentally picked up a radio station or something. But as I kept listening, I couldn't distinguish the chants and the stuff for this humming sound. This bzz, bzz, I can't reproduce it, but it kept humming and humming and humming, and I finally just said, I can't use this because of this dadgum humming that's all over the place. I kind of attribute it to bugs or something. I didn't think it was hummingbirds, but it kind of what it sounded like. But it was at night, so I was like, hummingbirds are asleep, so I couldn't rationalize it. And keep in mind, this was in the early days. And when I went up to the LBL, I've got some footage that was corrupted because of some humming sounds, and I was a bit disappointed about that. So I've got 2 instances of where I've encountered humming sounds that I've got recorded, and it's not to say that I haven't experienced these with my own ears when we're just going out for fun, because we've had that happen when we're out Bigfooting just for fun as well. So we didn't carry recorders or anything. We're just out having a good time. So yeah. But I posed this exact same question only just a few days ago.
Well, we know these aren't hummingbirds, and obviously, if we played Tristan's recordings that started us on this, I mean, you can tell it's coming from the creature that he's recording as it's eating, even. So it's really weird, and so we don't know if this has something to do with infrasound, if this is the spectrum part of the infrasound that is above, the 20 hertz. So we don't know. That's why we're asking all these questions. So you think you may have a recording?
Yeah, I'm going to have to check
Okay.
to see if I've got the old one. I've got terabytes of footage.
I know people like Will Starr. He asked me the other day, "Hey Doug, do you have any wood knocks on tape?" I'm like, yeah. But literally, it's in a towering room.
Exactly.
Full of 500 tubs. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll just put my finger right on that.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere.
Yeah,
so I'll try my best.
Hard drives, everything gets transferred to.
Yeah, we always use these hard drives external. Yeah. We use these to try to organize things, but we go through a lot of.
But who wants to go plug in hard drives? To see what's on there.
I've got 4 of these.
I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah, well,
there you go. Anyhow,
there you go. And when there's each one's like a terabyte or more. Some of the newer ones we have is like 5 terabytes, but the older ones are a terabyte each, and they're full of stuff. So
it's crazy.
I'll try to find it
if you can. Just think and maybe narrow it down. We'd love to get it. Well, thank you so much, Kristen and Greg. What a unique show. We had a ton. We'll have to get you guys back for sure.
Thank you guys.
There's kind of no end of there's no end of the stories, right?
No, it's really not.
Yeah. But I suppose if we don't let people go, everybody wants to. I haven't eaten one thing today yet.
Oh, no.
And I'm starting to, I can feel my stomach starting to eat itself.
You are what you eat. Remember that.
I know. I was fasting today. I just didn't eat nothing, not one thing, nothing. Oh, I did eat a blueberry. Yeah, I popped one blueberry in there this morning.
That doesn't count.
That didn't. There was a lot of calories in that blueberry. But anyhow, well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All the people in chat. So many people in chat, all the great comments. I mean, it was just an amazing show. And remember, it can be harder to commit to working on something small than to commit to something big, right? It's better to do big stuff. So thanks everybody. Thanks again, Greg. Thanks again, Alex, Kristen, and good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know